I see a record-breaking amount of clothes in here that's been in the corner of the closet for 20 or 30 years that no one around here has pulled out of their closet in a long time. My trainer this morning showed up in a leather jacket that he wore in an Atlanta nightclub 25 years ago because South Florida people are so unaccustomed to, what do you mean it's 35 degrees?
Wait a second. He trained you in a leather jacket?
Yes, and jeans. Yes, he showed up like you would for a club on a Friday night.
Is he Blade?
His wife asked him, "Hey, don't you have sweatpants?" And he's like, "Sweatpants ain't doing it today, honey. So it can't be cold down there. I've got to wear jeans." The rest of you, though, Chris Cody's wearing a Bob Saget sweatshirt.
I had to go deep into the closet for this one.
How did you guys experience this morning? My dog didn't want any help with sweaters, blankets, nothing. Didn't know what to do with what it is that this weather is.
I didn't want to get out of the shower. Like, I made the shower extra hot this morning, and I just stood there for a good 10 minutes after I got done washing. I didn't want to get out.
Quite the visual.
How are we so bad at this? How is it that nobody here is equipped in any way to deal, like the rest of the country? They're in New York right now, the temperatures are not humane. Like, you cannot be outside. So that's not what's happening here. It's just 35 degrees.
I was on ESPN yesterday, and I spent a good portion of the start of the show talking about how cold it is here in Miami. Everyone must have thought I was an asshole.
There was a little bit of frost on the cart today when I turned it on. A little bit of frost.
I think the rest of the country would be listening to this and mortified by us, by how soft we are. But everyone came in here this morning complaining about some form of the animals are not safe. We're not safe. What is this? How do people live in this? As if all of us were the sleigh dogs in the Iditarod.
I woke up with 2 sweaters on, and my dog's just chilling. I don't get it.
Well,
are they cold? They just can't explain it?
Well, and here's the problem. Here's the problem with us here in South Florida. Like, I wake up, I don't want to get out from under the covers because it's freezing in my house, and like the tiles are freezing when I step on it, and it's because we refuse to turn on the heat. And why do we refuse to turn on the heat? Because the smell. When you turn on the heater, you get the smell.
It smells like that only because you haven't used it in a long time,
I know.
Right? But that is the only like heaters all over cold weather cities don't smell like that if you're using them every day.
Right. I refuse to use it because of the smell.
That smell is just dust burning off of the coils from how long you haven't used it.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is that smell from the heater just dust from the coils because it's been so long that you used it in Miami? Because I think Tony's got that right, but I haven't lived anywhere else, and I don't know what the amount of time is if you don't use it for a month, 6 weeks, or in my case, didn't even know I had a heater. Like, legitimately did not know if I had a heater in my apartment because I've never used it. I'm not even making that up. I'm serious to you. So what it smelled like is, wait a minute, we've got a heater? We've got a heater in our house.
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air. When the chips are down and you throw a prayer. When your team is primed and on the hunt. It's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is
Oh, yeah, it's Super Bowl week. That's something that will get started a little stronger later in the week. I don't think you're going to feel it very much around here or very much around the Super Bowl this week.
Why didn't we go to Radio Row?
It's far.
I never want to go to Radio Row. We went one time to Las Vegas, but
We had fun, Dan.
yeah, we did have fun, but it cost us $500,000, and I don't really want to do that again.
You take half. Okay, you pay me and Zaz. Me and Zaz will go. We'll have fun over on Radio, and we'll put it back.
We'll start Super Bowl week in the customary place, which is talking about a boxing match over the weekend. And the thing that I wanted to ask all of you is, because boxing is a pretty historic sport, I'm guessing you guys have been familiar and watched boxing for a good amount of time. Have you ever seen someone step into the ring that you would accuse of wearing a toupee? Is it something that you've ever seen in all your time watching boxing where you're like, oh, that fighter there, that hair is not real? Is that something you've ever seen? A guy with fake hair in the boxing ring at Le Batard Show, put it on the poll. Have you ever seen a boxer in the ring that you suspected of wearing a toupee? Because over the weekend, somebody got their hair system punched off. Now, I don't know if this person won or lost the fight. Do you guys know? Jarrell Miller is his name. His nickname is Big Baby. Do you know if he won the fight or not?
He won by split decision. Hair lost, though. Who cares?
Okay, so we see there this video, which is amazing, and I want to get to his sound after the fight because the excuse is also amazing. The excuse for how it is and why it is he lost his hair, how long ago he lost his hair.
Why'd he punch his hair instead of his face?
Well, he's trying to punch his face, and sometimes it's hard to box. I know that you have a lot of expertise in the skills of boxing. Heavyweight fighting is awfully hard, awfully dangerous, but I'm serious when I say I've never seen a boxer that I would say, oh, that guy's got fake hair. Like, I've been watching boxing a long time, and it's not, and I'm not sure I would have known this guy had fake hair if not for the fact that he got punched off.
If you're him, you got to know, hey, there's a chance that if they hit me hard enough, my hair might fly off like a can.
Well, I think if you do think there's a chance of that, you will not do it. Like, I don't believe he thought there was a chance, because how many times have you seen that happen? Like, I don't believe this man stepped into the ring thinking that this was a possibility, that at the beginning of Super Bowl week, this is what we'd be talking about without knowing whether he won or lost the fight. But let's get his explanation, because his explanation is great. Listen to his explanation. It's so much better than Paul George's explanation for his embarrassment. It is an excellent explanation that I absolutely believe.
So it's so funny, right? I get to my mama's house, and she had some shampoo bottles under her table, and I shampooed it. It was like ammonium bleach. I already lost my hair like 2 days ago. So I called my man, so give me the man. What's that on real quick? Abiza knocked that off.
He knocked that shit off.
So he had forewarning, Dan. He knew, hey, there's a possibility that something might happen here if he hits me hard enough, and then plow.
I don't think he had forewarning. Again, I don't think that you can wash your hair with ammonia bleach. I do think it's an innocent mistake to see that your mom decided to hide some ammonia bleach in the shampoo bottles, and you thought it was shampoo, and now your hair's falling
I love how
off.
after the hair was off his head, it got a ringside seat, and the fight was continuing, and the hair was sitting ringside watching.
The hair looks like a big cookie.
Mike, you are an expert in these matters. You're always accusing people of fake teeth, of hair systems, of all sorts of Botox. You're our cosmetics expert. Have you ever seen a boxer walk into a ring with a toupee?
Can't say that I have. Can't say I've ever seen anything like that, Dan. Guy's hair system got knocked off by a punch. Give me all the examples.
I want you guys to look at the video behind Tony and Mike here, because you will see that as soon as his hair gets punched off, he tries to punch off the hair of his opponent who doesn't have hair. Like, he tries to do the same thing. He's like, I'm not going to be the only one out here without hair.
That's what I'm saying.
And then he realizes, well, that guy already doesn't have hair. You really need to go bald in that circumstance, don't you? You need to not put in the hair system. You need to admit your mistake. I did the ammonia bleach thing. I'm sorry, but I wonder if he had like splotching or something.
You're falling for that? The ammonia bleach shampoo,
I am.
like, yeah. I had a full head of hair until 2 days ago. Like, trust me.
Look, I've told you this. When the lie is so outrageous, that the details can't be believed, I tend to believe it. I told you the story of Edwin Pope, who got so drunk out in Indianapolis one time that he stepped outside of the hotel, asked the taxi driver to take him to his hotel, and the taxi driver said, "Sir, you're standing in front of your hotel." He goes upstairs, he falls down, he hits himself on the corner of a bureau and cuts himself. But his wife doesn't know that he drinks on the road. So when he comes home, what does he tell her? He tells her, "I came out of the elevator and I got hit by a forklift." And she believed it. Because
Don't believe this one. Are we to believe the bleach just affected the follicles? None of the surrounding skin. It just burned off the hair.
No, I think that he had a splotch problem. I think that that's the reason that he went with the hair system. But put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Which do you believe more? That Paul George was suspended for mental health medication, or that the boxer lost his hair with some bleach in a shampoo bottle? Which do you believe more?
Tony nailed it with it looks like a can being opened.
Like the lid of a can, you know how you kind of leave it halfway open? It's like, oh.
One of the, look.
Like you could cut yourself on
Look,
that.
let me, if I may chronicle this even more than we already have. The way that it happened is the funniest way it could have happened, because if it had simply dislodged and not opened like a can opener, if it had simply flown off and ended up in the ring, it wouldn't be as funny as it flapping in the wind. Like it
I must admit, sponges are tough for me to spot. It's a Two Americas thing. I remember when Steve Harvey had his grand reveal. I was like, "You fooled me. I didn't know that that was possible." But then I directly pointed my attention to Jamie Foxx. I'm like, I'm all over that one.
Oh, so this is something that you don't have expertise in.
It's more difficult. Two Americas.
Shams is reporting the latest on Giannis Antetokounmpo. He says that over the weekend, the Bucks remain engaged in teams making aggressive offers and have also submitted counteroffers. He's ready for his exit, whether it's at the deadline or the offseason. The most active suitors are Miami, Minnesota, Golden State, and New York has also emerged as a serious suitor. And the big thing to monitor over the next 3 days is if a team emerges that matches the price point that Milwaukee has set, and that his indications are that they want a young blue chip talent or a surplus of draft picks. So the Golden State Warriors don't really have a young blue chip talent, right? Kuminga doesn't have any value there. So according to Dunleavy himself, who said if you're going to demand a trade, there has to be demand somewhere. So
this is why, like, I don't understand. You got people all over television and radio. They're talking about, they're hyping up this Golden State offer because, yes, they have 4 draft picks that they can offer, and they're going to give up Kuminga. Like, they sat Kuminga 17 consecutive games. Steve Kerr, a champion coach, decided this player is not worth a single minute on my team, and that's the centerpiece of your trade? How it's a pathetic offer.
It's bad GMing, too. Like, if you're Dunleavy and you know there's no demand for your guy, you still can't say there's no demand for your guy because it nukes what's going on.
You're right, but also...
it was a message sent. I get it.
You're right, but also the Heat are quite guilty of that lately, too.
I was going to say that,
Well,
too.
let's talk about that for a second. So the situation that you have with the Heat is that Kel'el Ware has been ransacked by Eric Spoelstra in a way that's publicly odd for this organization. Spo rarely does stuff like this, and he even kind of walked it back the last time he did it when he hammered, Kel'el Ware for a lack of professionalism because he doesn't produce the same effort when he's not starting.
Kel'el, no. This is like the 3rd time he's done this, and it's always Ware. So maybe we should stop being surprised.
But he would be the centerpiece of whatever it is that you're trading for Giannis, would he not? Like, if you're the Bucks,
Or Tyler.
No, see, that's a bad contract.
I think both.
Young blue chip prospect is where?
I don't think Tyler's a bad
He's
contract.
from Milwaukee.
Literally
too.
expiring next year.
He's from Milwaukee.
It's okay. The expiring part is something that gives it more value.
It's market value, I think. It's fair for a former All-Star.
Okay, but you need to do better than that if you're taking back money on Giannis.
Well, they are, but he's for the region and the fact that he's still in the prime of his career. It's not a bad contract. I wouldn't do that, but it's a part of the deal, not the singular part of the deal.
There's not a bad contract that the Heat would be offering.
Correct.
Period. There's not one that's immovable or not expiring.
I don't think they
this
have any
summer.
bad contracts.
There are
on
no
this
bad
team.
contracts on
Except
this team.
next year, Bam making 50.
Because you're making all expiring contracts good contracts, right?
Well, if Tyler Hero and Andrew Wiggins are on expiring deals, they're valuable to get you a first-round pick based off the market. Like that's what everyone's talking about with Wiggins right now, and he still has a player option at $30 million for next year. The biggest reason you haven't seen that explored, more likely than not, is because the Heat are waiting to see, do the Bucks want Wiggins as a part of that deal? And as we were talking about last week, like you could combine Tyler Hero and Andrew Wiggins to fill out that salary and potentially be pieces that the Bucks could move next season if they wanted. They have Terry Rozier as an expiring deal right now. Tyler Hero is not a net negative. He's not a centerpiece prospect to build around only because he's about to turn 26, but that's a former All-Star guard at $30 million.
Adam Silver, I don't even dare you. I double dare
You already did this.
Okay.
I've already seen this. Like, you got to do better than this. I've already heard you.
Adam Silver, I triple dog dare you. I haven't done that.
Yeah, he hasn't done that.
I haven't done that.
Dan, triple dog.
You finished the thought. You still haven't told the people what
Adam
you're repeating.
Silver, I triple dog. I dared you. I double dared you. I triple dog dare you to void a deal that the Miami Heat trade away Terry Rozier's expiring contract. I triple dog dare you, Adam Silver.
So let me walk back what I said a little bit on Tyler Hero and that contract. Okay, if all expiring contracts are good, then I will concede to you that the Andrew Wiggins contract isn't, for example, bad in the context of what it is that we're doing here, which is you have to make the salaries match. But Milwaukee doesn't want Andrew Wiggins. They want young pieces. They want, so Tyler Hero is young. He was an all-star last year. He's hurt way too much, and you've got to get the money to match up, and it's going to be hard to get the money to match up. But if I'm Milwaukee, and this is the piece I have, I understand why you guys look at it from the Miami perspective, but if I'm Milwaukee and this is the piece that I have, everything I'm getting back has to have value and more value than just it's an expiring contract. Now, Tyler Hero, you can make the arguments on behalf of Tyler Hero, but I'm here to tell you that Tyler Hero for Giannis isn't enough.
Obviously.
That's not going to be the best offer. No, but I'm saying, you're sitting here saying, take the Rozier contract, take the Wiggins contract, take the Tyler Hero contract, and I'm telling you that if they're going to pay that much money for a contract, maybe it'll be for an expiring contract, but my guess is that they'll want somebody better than that.
Well, those are just the parts to make the money work, Dan. Like the pieces that you would theoretically be building around as the centerpiece of these deals are the 2 available picks that the Heat have, a couple of pick swaps, and they can get to a third if they simply get Milwaukee to shift the protections from the 2027 pick to 2028. So
Charlotte.
now you would have, I appreciate that. Charlotte, it would be a 2026, a 2030, a 2032. Those would go right to them. That's without doing anything else other than calling up Charlotte. Plus there's Kel'el Ware. There's Jaime Jaquez Jr., a 24-year-old Six-Man of the Year candidate. There are several other young pieces. A first-round pick in Kasparis Jakučionis, who's a 19-year-old point guard, getting minutes. Obviously, there's Pelle Larsson, but we don't want to talk about him because he's too good, and I don't want to trade him. But there are so many really good young pieces that are a piece of this.
Stop.
Look,
I
obviously.
gotta stop you. Stop you. I don't want to lose Pelle Larsson for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I could strangle you right now. I could strangle you.
The way I vocally modulated didn't insinuate that I was
throw you
kidding
into
at all.
the ocean by your head. You turn over the entirety of your roster to Milwaukee, and you say, take who you want.
Remember when Heat fans didn't want to trade Caron Butler for Shaq?
Yes, and
That was my favorite.
Yeah, and Lamar Odom. I would love Lamar Odom and Caron Butler, and I like Brian Grant too. Brian Grant is the kind of contract that you're talking about here, where you got to make the contracts match up. So you got to throw in Brian Grant too, and people liked him, so they didn't want him to go either for Shaq.
I think you're just seizing on something that Jeremy said when he was clearly joking. I think he'd be okay with including Pelle Larsson in there.
It's every possible piece, right? And the Heat, in terms of what is available right now, we laid it out last week. Everybody has been hyping up this Golden State package because of these picks and pick swaps.
Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why I think everyone's, Jeremy, hyping up the Golden State package? I think people just want to see Giannis play with Steph.
That's right.
That's all it is. They don't have a good package. They just want – but it's a great story for us to pay attention to for Giannis to play with Steph.
And there have been reports, I believe it was Nick Friedel, that said Golden State has reassured Jimmy Butler that he is not a piece of that potential trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, insinuating that the financial things there would be Draymond. To me, all that insinuates is the Bucks didn't like the package that was built around Jimmy Butler, and Golden State is saving face, because the reports from the very beginning from everyone were, all right, they'll be willing to trade Jimmy Butler and anything else. It's everybody but Steph. And now it's, oh, we're reassuring Jimmy he's a piece of it, which shows me the counter from Milwaukee was, well, we don't want that contract, because that contract is actually difficult to move.
You're probably right.
It's only an expiring deal. It's not one that you feel you can flip for further value. That's why I mentioned Hero and Wiggins. You can flip those for further value later on if you don't want them as a piece for the future. Tyler, you could extend as you continue to rebuild. He's a 26-year-old all-star.
The backstory on some of this that presents problems for the Miami Heat is, do you do it in the next 3 days, or do you do it in the offseason when you have the picks? And Milwaukee doesn't have any urgency on this, right? Miami would need to do it in the next 3 days because they want to compete this year in an Eastern Conference that's suspect, but Milwaukee's incentivized to wait for a better offer in the offseason, are they not?
Milwaukee is incentivized to wait because they can get at least one more pick if they wait until the summer. But how much does Milwaukee care about what Giannis wants in this case? How much should they care about what Giannis wants? Because two things. Number one, they could say, hey, Giannis, we want to wait until the summer because it's more beneficial for us. But Giannis would be like, yeah, I don't want to waste another year of my career. Like, I want to win right now. I want to go to a team that is going to be a playoff team right now. And then the second part, which is kind of important, is Giannis is eligible in October to sign a Supermax deal. But he can only sign it if his current team has had him for 6 months. So if they trade him over the summer, he's not eligible for Supermax.
Also, the other teams in the mix would suggest that these are teams looking to seize on this very window right now. So you're probably not going to get as good an offer from certainly not these teams that are looking to add Giannis at 32 years old for this postseason.
And on top of that, like if you're Giannis and they don't trade you at the deadline, they want something better in the offseason, do you just not play? Because it's 4 to 6 weeks, quote unquote, of his calf strain. But now it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to go out and get hurt in April, right? Like, I'm done for the season. I just basically put him on the shelf.
Just so that I continue to explain what it is that I'm saying about the Tyler Hero contract, because I don't believe that Milwaukee just wants an expiring deal, and he's going to want a massive deal. A player who doesn't play defense on an expiring deal. Kel'el Ware is the blue chip talent in that deal. It's not Tyler Hero, even though Tyler Hero is the all-star, because you have to pay Tyler Hero.
I don't think anybody's disagreeing.
If you want to keep him. Let's get to something here else that happened over the weekend that doesn't have to do with this, but I'm finding funny that the statue of Dwayne Wade is having some post-traumatic effects that is affecting the legacy of other players who now don't want statues at all because of how bad Dwayne Wade's statue looked. Derrick Rose was on a television show, and he was being asked whether or not he wants a statue. And Derrick Rose, I know you were objecting, Zaz, last week to the fact that Reggie Miller went on Dan Patrick and said something. What were you objecting to?
Well, yeah, Derrick Rose had his jersey retired by Chicago, which is great. I'm not going to sit here and agree or disagree with that. It's up to the team. They want to retire a jersey, okay? But then Dan Patrick asked Reggie Miller if he believes that if Derrick Rose would be in the Hall of Fame, okay, which is debatable. He's going to get in because everybody gets in, but it's certainly debatable. And yeah, Reggie Miller said that Derrick Rose, of course he's a Hall of Famer because for a good 6 to 8 years, he was battling LeBron as the best player in the NBA. The hell are you talking about? He didn't even play for the Bulls for 8 years, first of all. And he had 3 good years, Derrick Rose. 3. The rest of his career, he was hurt. Like 6 to 8 years was battling LeBron for best player in the league. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Like Reggie Miller, he's supposed to be an NBA analyst. Can you know a little something about the game?
All right, let's hear Reggie Miller first before we get to this Derrick Rose having post-traumatic Dwayne Wade statue reflexes.
I would be surprised if he doesn't. He will be the only MVP not to be in the Hall of Fame.
Man, if he didn't get hurt,
is he a first ballot? I doubt he'll be first ballot, but he'll get in at some point.
But
for a 6 to 8 year stretch, him and LeBron were battling for who was the best player in the game.
Dan, help me out here. I can't be the only I can't be the only person screaming in here about this. Can somebody agree with me?
Saz, I'm looking at his basketball reference right now, and you had mentioned it. 3 years where he was over 20 points per game, one of them being the MVP season. Let me read you the stat lines from his MVP season. 25 points a game, 7.5 assists a game, 4 rebounds a game. LeBron's is way better than that.
It's not
LeBron's worst year of his career.
It's not only better. It is legitimately flabbergasting that Derrick Rose's career has been over for as long as it's been over, and that LeBron is still getting into this year's All-Star game. Like that makes no sense if you have any appreciation whatsoever for, I don't know, mortality. Just the aging process.
Reggie, was he battling LeBron for best player in the year in the league the year that he played 39 games? Was he battling with LeBron for best player in the year in the league the year that he played 10 games? Was it the year that he averaged 15 points per game? What are you talking about?
LeBron this season is averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 6.5 assists.
The Lakers are funny because they're like 10 games over 500, but they've got 16 double-digit losses, and no team with their point differential has ever been quite this good in terms of record. And they're almost 10 games over 500 with Austin Reeves and LeBron James missing 20 of the games. Don't trust them at all. They don't play any defense. You can't trust them. They lost to the Knicks yesterday, and now Brian Windhorst is saying the Knicks have no interest in aggressively pursuing Giannis because they like their current team. And as it relates to what it is we were talking about before with nobody in Miami wanting to trade Caron Butler for Shaquille O'Neal, I'm not kidding when I tell you I have talked to a number of Knicks fans who are just romantically in love with these tough Knicks. And what they say to me on Giannis is, we can't give up OG Anunoby. And I'm like, who are these people? Like, what is happening? It's multiple people who are saying this to me because they fall in love with the gritty guys who play defense and stuff. And they're like, I don't want an immortal.
You can't trade Mitchell Robinson, Dan. He only plays 19 minutes a game.
What is the matter with people? Let's get to Derrick Rose here, though. This was legitimately funny. When Derrick Rose surprised me in the middle of this when he just gave his reasoning for, I don't want a statue.
Well, you had the jersey, you had the book. The statue's next, right? Right outside of the United Center. Right outside, right where Jordan's is.
No knock D-Wade. I saw that statue. I'm good.
No, come on, man. You need a statue outside of Chicago, man. So if they say we want you to build your statue, you going to say no?
I should also mention the context of he's a religious man and he doesn't like the idea of humans being worshipped that way. So it's not just the Dwayne Wade scars, but it is also the Dwayne Wade scars.
I'm looking at it on the TV right now. Good Lord. Can we walk up to that? Can I go across the street and walk up to that right now?
It's slightly gated off, but yes, you can get pretty
Okay,
close
Tony's
to
top
it.
5 from the D-Wade statue this week.
Okay, I'd take it today if you wanted to do it today. But I'll ask you guys the question here. Does that statue look more like Dwayne Wade or Michael Chiklis?
Tony, that means get your ass in gear.
Reggie, was Derrick Rose battling LeBron for best player in the year in the league in his 6th year when he shot 40% from the floor? Was that one of the years?
Can you guys please get for me the video that everyone on the internet has been enjoying this week? And not just the video of the bar fight, but a video as well of the news report chronicling some of the details in what it is that happens. Zaz, have you seen this?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so listen to this because a lot of people are talking about this today, and it seems like something more likely to happen in Australia, which has more creatures that can kill you than any other place.
They're not going to be any spiders
Earth.
here, right?
I don't think there are going to be any spiders here.
Keep an eye, you never know.
But let's take a look here at this news report.
The man and a mate had been inside but were thrown out. One of them grabbed a chair from a restaurant next door, despite staff and customers there trying to stop him, and it's suspected he was trying to throw it at security at the front door, but instead it hit his mate in the head. He recovered reasonably quickly, got up and walked away. It's understood no one rang police or an ambulance. We'll have full details. 7 News.
So for the audio audience, okay, this is a special kind of drunkenness. When you throw a chair, put it on the poll, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Have you ever been so drunk that you could have thrown a chair at security that instead hit your friend in the back of the head?
Hit your mate, man.
Because he didn't come close to hitting security. Security was watching him. He seems to think, because of the amount of liquid in his system, that that he had more accuracy than he actually had. I guess, well, the accuracy wasn't terrible in that it would have, I suppose, hit security if it had not hit his mate in the back of the head.
But it's not like his mate emerged and it was like, oh, I got a clean shot at security, and then his mate walked in front. His mate is standing there the entire time. And he's always going to hit his mate.
And then the security guard was hysterical laughing at him.
Can you imagine being the mate there? You're talking to security. Hey, look, my friend's a good guy. My mate's a good mate, right?
We don't need to call the
He's
cops.
not a
We're
cheeky,
good
you know
here.
what? And then all of a sudden,
he's like, all right, you know what? Get him out of here.
Tony Soprano end scene.
Honestly, if I had told you that this scene was choreographed artistically by stuntmen in a movie, they couldn't have done it a lot better than this in terms of, if you're doing a comedy and you're trying to have your friend be so drunk that his judgment is impaired, but not his accuracy. He's thrown a chair. We're all in agreement that that chair would have successfully hit security if security hadn't moved or flinched, because they saw, no, this is going to hit his mate in the back of the head. There's no circumstance under which this chair is going to make our toupee fly off because it hits us in the head.
Let me go ahead and illustrate this one for you, Dan. Let's get the video back up on screen. So you could see security right here. Off screen, right over here, is the friend who's about to throw the chair. Now, this is another security guard. Obviously, this ends up being the target for the throw. So let's see this happen. Let's see it unwind.
Come on, draw it.
There
it is.
So you can see it right here, and you can see
circle.
that. And of course, that's the guy who throws it right over there.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Let's play that back again without the helpful telestrator that always draws a penis. Look at this guy in the front of the whole situation. He's walking by. He just casually, moves to his left with a drink in his hand. Because it's the most normal thing in Australia to have
Casual
all
dodging of a
This
chair.
guy's just walking. He's like, nope, don't want to
roll
be.
back.
Like, just move.
Stop right now.
The guy just moved.
Stop right
his
now,
show.
Lewis. Stop right now.
Just-
Stop right now. All right, that's perfect. Now you can see the man who was about to launch the chair.
Said chair.
This.
Right now, that guy's realizing, oh, that guy's about to throw a chair.
Yeah.
This person is seeing a chair being thrown, so he's speeding up. You could see the bend in the knee right here. Of course, you have security. You have a woman walking out of the picture.
Draw another ball.
And then, of course, this right here is the ultimate target. So go ahead and play this, and we'll see the launch of the chair. Oh, right to the back of the head. And, of course, laughter right here. A fallen patron over here. And right over there is ultimately the man who threw the chair.
Getting back to what it is that we were talking about before about Kuminga, how can the Heat with a straight face say that the Warriors' offer is no good? They're offering Kuminga, a player who hasn't played in 17 games. Here, take our blue chip talent that the coach keeps ripping and they won't start because Kel'el Ware is someone you can trust, even though Spo is taking the rare measures of consistently ripping Kel'el Ware. How can you make that argument with a straight face?
Yeah, it bothers me. And look, I think Eric Spoelstra's the best coach in the league. I love him. But I don't get it. It bothers me. On Saturday night, because, Dan, they played the Bulls 3 consecutive games. My God, enough of Heat Bulls. But on Saturday night, Kel'el Ware played 3 minutes. And we're in the midst of a week where we are trying to offer that as the main piece for Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he can only play 3 minutes off the Heat's bench. And then Spo, after the game, was talking about game was moving too fast for him. Couldn't play. I was like, whoa, hold on a second. In a league that is getting faster and faster, you're telling the Bucks that this is a guy who you can't keep on the floor in that spot? I don't understand.
It just feels like sometimes perceived value is almost better than actual value. And the perceived value of Kel'el Ware is that he's his blue chip prospect. The problem is if you put him out there and he's a little bit too slow for a game that, as Jeremy said, they started a center who was 6'7". Like, yeah, the game might be a little bit too quick for him. They'll play him off the floor, and then he doesn't look like that blue chip prospect. So, like, putting him on the shelf and being like, yeah, he's great, but right now, like, we're not going to put him in. The perceived value is increased there.
He had 17 points and 6 rebounds in 18 minutes last night.
Also
like
true,
it was just a game where they started a 6'7" center, and all Chicago was doing was run. They played both big men off the floor, both Niko Jovic and Kel'el Ware, just defensively had too many mistakes, and so Bam was out there anchoring the defense, and that was how the Heat kept themselves in the game. Their offense was struggling.
Put it on the poll, please. My God, enough of Heat Bulls, yes or no? I will tell you that I am not yet so used to what has been the last 10 years of incredible basketball and human evolution that you can tell me that a unicorn like Kel'el Ware, who can shoot threes, block shots like that, and is uncommonly athletic, that doesn't have a place as a blue chip talent in this league. I know that the league is changing at an unbelievable rate. I know that many of you don't like watching basketball because you don't want a team going 9 for 50 from 3. It's not fun to watch when the threes aren't going in. But Kel'el Ware, to my experience, is a basketball player who simply did not exist 10 years ago. Like that. Kevin Garnett is something like that, although Kevin Garnett has an actual mid-range game that Kel'el Ware doesn't actually have. Kel'el Ware is either the post or threes, but a 7-footer like that, you cannot convince me under any circumstances that is not a player who has value to somebody who knows how to grow players and build a culture around players that protects them. I just don't know if the Bucks feel like they have that with Doc Rivers, Miles Turner, and Kyle Kuzma.
I would think, well, first of all, Kuzma likely gets sent out in one of these trades, but Miles Turner is actually like the perfect guy as one of these first sort of freaks who was playing out on the perimeter as a 7-footer offensively. Like he's a guy who's been in an NBA Finals, has been that stretch 5, has been a great shot blocker. He's actually a really wonderful guy to bring Kel'el Ware along as a veteran, and obviously they think Doc Rivers is one of the great coaches in the league if they have him as their head coach. What the Heat have is an organization that's been doing this with young big men for years and years and years. You guys forget, like 6, 7, 8 years ago, Heat fans were having the same argument about Bam Adebayo. Why isn't he on the floor? Why isn't he on the floor? Why isn't he on the floor? Why isn't he shooting threes? The Heat like to bring guys along when they feel like they can become complete products, especially when they feel like their talent.
I know, but Bam was in the middle of a trade where we're trying to get one of the best players in the world. Like we weren't talking about this is the centerpiece.
Do you think that? And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think a talent evaluator, a general manager, is looking at what the peaks of Kel'el Ware have been thus far this season. What he literally did yesterday, and looking at one game against the play-in Bulls with 6-7 guys.
No, it's more than one game.
I understand, but you think that a few games where he plays less than the full amount of minutes. When, by the way, Niko Jovic is a 22-year-old who they've been bringing along slowly too, also getting those minutes at center, and the best player on your team is a center.
Can I make a point for you guys that echoes what it is that Zaz is saying here? That if you want to get in the game for Giannis, to my way of thinking, when you're playing 3 games against the Bulls, because basketball can be confusing in the way I'm about to mention. Jared Allen had 16 points yesterday in the first quarter. Why? Because Evan Mobley's not playing. None of us would know how good Jalen Brunson is if he hadn't left Luka's side. Against the Bulls, run everything through Kel'el Ware. I don't care if you win those games now. You have to showcase that person so that you can trick Milwaukee into thinking the opposite of whatever they think now because of what the coach is saying. Run the whole thing through him. Showcase him so that you can maximize his value. There are all sorts of players in that league. If I just give them a usage rate, you would be amazed by their statistics. Trae Young went to having no value just because everyone knows, oh, if I let him hold the ball all the time, of course he's going to go 25, 5 and whatever, and those numbers aren't going to end up meaning anything. To me, you have to showcase Kel'el Ware. You have to put him on the court. You cannot, during this time, be playing him 3 minutes in games that Zaz is saying, my God, enough with Heat Bulls.
I just don't know if it's kind of like a Mad Men presentation with Pat Riley walking into Andy Ellisberg in the round table and being like, what if we trick him? I just don't think that's plausible. Like, I hear what you're saying. Let him beat up on these bad teams and pad his stats, but I think their eval is their eval.
That's fine, but their eval is being aided by the people who have the most information saying out loud about a player like they've said of no other, I don't trust him.
That's the Heat's MO, ruin their own assets over the last few seasons.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I thought that the best point that Jeremy made in the last hour was pointing out that the Warriors sort of flipped stance on reporting, where all of a sudden they're saying, yeah, we're going to wait Jimmy Butler out on his rehab and we're going to take care of him, being very careful not to hurt his feelings because in all likelihood, Milwaukee said, no thanks, don't want that expiring contract. And so they had to reverse course by all the reporting changing on Jimmy Butler. There were a couple of other things that I wanted to get to with you guys, though, here today. And Zaz, do you want to hear for a second a couple of the mistakes that you made in the last hour? Because I'm sorry to do this to you, but I'm not sorry to do this to you. Let's hear one of the things that Zaz said during the last hour that was a Zaz mistake.
How it's a pathetic offer.
So
I don't have a problem with that one. It's a pathetic offer.
Okay, you don't have a problem with that one? Okay.
No, that's it. That's his character. He stammers sometimes.
I don't have a problem with that one.
No, that's play on.
Okay, that is play on.
Play on.
All right. What about this one?
Reggie, was Derrick Rose battling LeBron for best player in the year in the league? Let me tell you something.
Did that one like twice.
More than that. I'm going to have a hard time sleeping tonight because I don't know why I couldn't say that right. I did it several times. Reggie, was Derrick Rose battling LeBron for best player in the year in the league? How do I keep making the same mistake?
Are you talking in too many places?
How do you
Because
make
this is possible.
one syllable? Bye.
Is it possible that you're talking too much in too many places? Is that possible? That
No.
you're not? Because I will tell, I texted Mike just this week, and there are a couple of places, okay, that I am feeling vulnerable. One of them is wearing headsets for 21 years. For the first time in my life over the last 2 years, I have to ask my wife to repeat herself again and again because my hearing from 21 years of doing this, or longer really, is headphones have affected my hearing.
Me too.
But another place that I feel vulnerable is by the time I get to Friday, my stamina isn't what it used to be. Like I can feel by Fridays that I'm having some trouble speaking clearly. Do you think the fact that you're doing Zaslow 2.0 show, you're doing ESPN radio, and you're doing this might lead, and you're older.
Also see him on the Greg Cody show, which came out this morning.
And you're older. You're talking in a lot of places. Is it possible that you're having more difficulty talking because you're getting paid more in more places for talking?
I shouldn't have any trouble on this show. This is the first thing I do of the day. I'm at my freshest for this show. I will tell you, I'm a little bit worried about it. I just turned 45 years old. I think it has to be an age thing. I do, and that bothers me. That bothers me.
You turned a 3-syllable word into a 1-syllable word.
Battling.
Bang.
Battling through it.
Battling.
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 I don't even know what word that is.
Battling.
Battling? Is it?
You know
Am
what
I saying
battling?
battling?
Is it? You can't understand what you're saying?
Oh, was that LeBron is battling with Derrick Rose? Reggie, was Derrick Rose battling LeBron for best player in the year in the league?
He was battling.
He was battling.
Bye.
He's battling.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Can battling ever be one syllable at Le Batard Show?
Bye.
Zaslow is getting pissed off as well at reporters who don't know anything.
How can you not? How could you not? I can't. Okay, so I can't be the only one. The major drawback to this Giannis, trade scenario is I am refreshing Twitter every 5 seconds, and that's really obnoxious. Like I'll just be living my life, and then my brain says to me, "Check if Giannis has been traded" every 5 seconds, and I have to check, and it's really obnoxious. So I can't wait until Thursday rolls around. But part of the problem is you have all these reporters out there who don't know And it's so easy to tell which ones don't know anything. Like, I really believe it boils down to, because, Dan, as a journalist yourself, you and I, just a couple journalists here in this room, you could probably back me up here and attest to the idea that journalists aren't just making stuff up, you know? But times are different now. Times are different with the way the internet is and social media, and everybody's got to be first and everybody's got to get information. You're telling me you don't believe that? So Shams comes out with the report last week that the Bucks are now aggressively listening to offers, and there's a real possibility that Giannis is going to be traded. And then after that, every other reporter starts coming out with their little tidbits, their little nuggets, their little information.
Shams always knows what he's talking about.
Yes,
correct?
yes,
Like
yeah,
that's
I think so, yeah.
I've got to be honest here. I did not think that Woj was a replaceable creature. I did not think that there was anybody on earth who could actually do that job credibly the way that Woj did and does. I shouldn't say does anymore because he's not doing it at all. Shams does it as well as Woj did. I didn't think there was such a thing. So you're not talking about him.
No, he's the guy. He's the top guy. He definitely, he's got his information. And then everybody else starts following suit. I really believe it's everybody else like, I gotta show that I'm in the game somehow. Like, I better have some kind of information. And you could always tell. You could tell the bull. I saw someone the other day, some other reporters, like, you know, the Heat don't have any draft picks to offer. Well, no, yes, they do. They have 2 draft picks to offer. And then there's another one. The Heat can trade their 28 first-round pick and their 29. No, they actually can't. They're not allowed to. And then there's another one who was coming out and saying Giannis' hesitation with a potential trade to Miami is Pat Riley's militant style. It's like, Pat Riley has nothing. Here's the thing. People don't understand. Pat Riley doesn't have anything to do with the day-to-day team. Eric Spoelstra is 1,000% in charge. Pat Riley has nothing to do with the team on a day-to-day basis. So you could just tell the reporters who are just reporters, I say in air quotes, who are just trying to get in the game.
Name names, okay? Because you're not talking about Shams, but who are you talking about?
Oh, it's even names that I don't recognize. It's just people out. It's they got 10,000.
Okay, so it's the internet. It's not reporters. It's the
it's some.
Are you follower shaming?
It's some. It's some. No, I'm saying no. I said that as like they're like actual reporters. It's not someone who's got 200 followers. It's someone who.
But you're not naming names.
Because I don't remember I don't know these fools.
All right. Seems like you're scared.
It is Super Bowl week, and ESPN's morning radio show, Evan Cohen, is not getting up at 3 a.m. He's starting the show at 3 a.m., a 6 a.m. show along with the other people he hosts Unsportsmanlike with. They're going to be in a warehouse and no one's going to be coming by there at that hour because who the hell's going to come by there? Who's going to come by Sports Radio Row between 3 and 7 a.m. in the morning in San Francisco?
I think
time?
Michelle has a 2 a.m. makeup call time.
I think they all must be at least up by 2 a.m. Like they have to be up by at least 2 a.m. just to prepare a full day's show. All of them, I don't know how they're sleeping this week. You'd have to go to sleep at 6 o'clock. You'd have to go to sleep at 6 o'clock at night in order to do a morning show.
Should we have someone on like from that show, like
at
3, when our show starts? Like, what's it like? Paint the picture for us.
Yeah,
nobody's here.
Yeah, there's not gonna. I mean, they're gonna be. It's 3 a.m.
There's no janitors even there.
There's not gonna be anybody there. It's gonna be lonelier than when Kevin Rogers saw Lincoln Kennedy. It's at the.
I was there for that.
You were?
Yeah.
Can you paint the picture for us?
No, it's just Kevin's doing his night show there. I was still there because I think we were going to go somewhere, like to some party afterward.
The FHM party.
Yeah. Maybe. So like I was waiting for Kevin to be done, you know?
I'm pretty sure it was the FHM party.
And Lincoln Kennedy. Hey, Lincoln Kennedy.
Well, hold on a second. You don't have to recreate it or paraphrase it. We have the sound.
Lincoln Kennedy, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm working. Where you going? You on the FHM party tonight? You going to FHM tonight? All right. I'll see you later.
All right. I'll see you later.
So, Zaz, you were somewhere just to the right of K-Rock.
Yeah, I was sitting at that table. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but it sounds like if we can play that again, Lincoln Kennedy is saying you're not there. He's saying no one is there.
Lincoln Kennedy, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm working. Where you going? You on the FHM party tonight? You going to FHM tonight? All right. I'll see you later.
I'm sure Lincoln Kennedy was just looking at his watch, wondering when's K-Rod going to get
Oh,
here?
they had a great night together at the FHM party. I'm sure they caught up.
I want to talk about something that happened this weekend. I don't know why it is. I would be surprised that competitive people, competition-aholics, as they age, would go to every length and measure, including possible cheating, in order to get advantages. I don't know if you saw that Paul George made 9 threes. The game, Paul George has been pretty bad for them over the course of this season. They need Maxey and Embiid to do just about everything, and Paul George hasn't given them very much, but he did have one game where he had 9 threes, and then they immediately tested him for it. And then he got in a league that is really, really soft on drug suspensions. Nobody in the NBA used to get drug suspensions back when marijuana was banned and everyone knew that everyone in the league was smoking marijuana. Kevin Durant smokes so much that he might as well smoke while he's playing. Just run up and down the court smoking while he plays, because he's not bashful about that in any way. But nobody gets gonged in that sport because their drug testing system is so useless. But this weekend, Dylan Brooks was making fun of Paul George about this. He's like, talk about that on your podcast. I don't think anybody believes any excuses. I don't believe there is any way that a league, especially this league, because it suspends people so infrequently, suspends anybody, and the explanation, no matter what it is, I don't believe there is a single explanation, even if it's an honest mistake, that anyone will believe. I think that this explanation, that I'm taking mental health medicine and I didn't know what I was putting in my body, is as not believable as if he said, I got suspended for 25 games because I drank bleach out of one of my mom's shampoo bottles. But it's a great move by Paul George, because I haven't heard that one used before to garner sympathy. Is there a way for anyone who gets suspended 25 games by that league for it to be an honest mistake? And you would believe that
really
it's an
difficult.
honest mistake?
It's really difficult, Dan, especially with as progressive a league as the NBA is, as it pertains to mental health. Pretty much everything is allowed. There are some stimulants that are against the rules. However, they even give waivers provided you present the proper prescription and you just run it by the league. It's really, really difficult to get pinched for something like this in that league.
Yeah, there's one of two things happen here to Paul George and anyone who winds up getting, pinched for any of these banned substances. Either you tried to cheat and you got caught, all right, or you're incredibly foolish. And the incredibly foolish part is all you have to do is you take the bottle of the thing that you want to take and you go up to your trainer and you say, "Can I take this?" And then he says yes or no. It's that simple.
It's just like that. It's just like that. And also, we're talking about a player that has struggled to stay on the court, that at his age, you can understand if he were to turn to something to get back on the court and have an extended run and show that he's worth the money. I mean, it doesn't go beyond the scope of imagination here.
Let's look into the past and see how many players have been popped for something outside of PEDs. So the last 25 game bans, Jody Meeks in 18 for PEDs. Wilson Chandler, PEDs, 25 games. John Collins, 25 games for PEDs, a peptide. DeAndre Ayton tested positive for a diuretic. Some say it was PEDs and they were trying to wash it through. Yeah. Bobby Portis, 25 games for a pain medicine. And then Paul George with this very...
I also got Tristan Thompson here a couple years ago.
Tristan Thompson too, but ambiguously, mental health medicine, whatever that may be.
So he didn't name the medicine, and I haven't seen this move used before by anybody. It may have been used, but one of the things that I found interesting about it, never mind the optics or the PR about it, what an amazing shift in that league and the way that league armors up on masculinity for Paul George to say openly, I'm not a cheater, I just need help with mental frailty. I need help with mental illness. What a seismic change in how it is men present as men in that league, that the second one is no longer a stigma, at least in part because of what DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Love did. This stuff was never talked about before, where I'm sure he garners at least some sympathy in some corners. I don't think everyone is saying what we are. There's nothing you can say that I will believe if the NBA gets you gone for 25 games. I think many people are saying, well, maybe, even though it seems fundamentally implausible because of what Zaz is saying. And the reason it seems fundamentally implausible is Paul George just cost himself $12 million. You've got, like, when the risk is that high, what Zaz is saying is so. You take your medication to your team doctors and you say, is this okay for me to use? And that's how you ingest things. But it's really a seismic shift in everything happening in that league that Paul George is willing to do the double of, no, I'm not cheating, I have that shame, but I'm going to tell all my fellow players in this league something that 10 years ago, none of these guys would have admitted to, because nobody in that league wants to admit that they need help.
And I ate it all up. Yeah, Paul, you were looking for a mark. I'm your mark. I'm an empath.
I did not believe him, though. And
were you thinking of me when you came up with this excuse? You probably were. And I took the bait. Hook, line, and sinker.
I believe Jeremy took the bait. I believe that I have been scarred by Ryan Braun.
I think I still believe him.
I kind of do.
I've been scarred by Ryan Braun the way that Derrick Rose has been scarred by the Dwayne Wayne statue. Ryan Braun, I did believe, because I'm like, well, he wouldn't do it that forcefully. He wouldn't stand on a field and deny it that forcefully unless nobody would lie that aggressively.
Who would lie?
No, but that aggressively. Lying is one thing. Lying with defiance and arrogance and scolding reporters and doing it calmly and confidently. Lying that well, I fell for Ryan Braun, but it's the last time I fell like that.
They won't get you again,
no,
Dano.
No, I don't.
Except for maybe this time.
No, not me.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, come on.
No.
He's tall. He did that kissy face thing, and we kind of felt bad about it. Come on, let's believe him. No games. Unsuspend him. Justice for PG.
Unsuspend him. I believe Jeremy might have had a soft spot for everything Paul George was saying. I did not. I immediately thought it was public relations bull.
Yeah, I might be naive, but I don't know. I think if you're someone taking drugs for your mental health and you make a tweak to those because something else is going on with your mental health, you might just make that tweak before necessarily consulting with someone within your system, or maybe even did. Like, look, I could be totally misled here, and maybe as someone who takes mental health drugs myself, I'm just looking at it with a level of empathy that is too deep, because it's something that I would be really embarrassed about or upset about if it affected my ability to do my job. It's the reason I take those drugs, is so that I can get out here and perform and do my job and be stable. Maybe if he's someone on maybe he needs to take Xanax to be able to fall asleep. Maybe it's one of those types of drugs, but I don't know. I think this is something where I'm going to take the guy at his word, and if I'm proven wrong, like if this all ends up being a farce, then I could be even more upset and look at him in a light that is like really frustrated with the manipulation of our empathy.
Got another one. Yep. Hell yeah. Knew that snowflake would join me, and he was way stronger on the subject so people can mock him when the truth comes out. Hell yeah. What's up, Zaz?
What's up, player?
What's up, Trevor? You've ceased being me as that character. You're now doing you as you're just
No,
doing.
I'm in the dark recesses of your mind. We're good. No one can hear us, just you and me, big guy. We look good today.
Can you get me, since Jeremy's reporting is so good, Eric Reed complimenting Jeremy during the telecast yesterday?
Impressive investigating journalism for Jeremy Taché. That's a good story. Taché.
Wow,
Good stuff.
That was slightly sensuous by John Crotty there.
Taché.
Hey.
It was. Am I wrong?
Taché.
What was your story?
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That feels, we'll get to the investigative report of Jeremy Taché in a second. That is dangerously close. I'm going to say this, and I don't do this flippantly. I feel like the way that John Crotty said that is very close to sexual harassment.
Taché.
I'd say.
Oh, I think he's saying
Taché.
Taché.
Oh,
not
Taché.
Taché.
But there's an undercurrent of I'd say.
Taché. Taché.
Yeah, now that I hear it, I don't like it.
What was the investigative report, Taché?
I took a deep dive into the Twitter account, Did Pella Get Hit, which is a Twitter account that is run for every time Pella Larson gets hit in the face. And of course, Dan, on Saturday night, with 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, he was hit in the face again. So I had reached out to the young person who runs this account. They're a 21-year-old Heat fan who first got into Miami Heat basketball thanks to the Dwayne Wade dunk over Anderson Varejao. They saw that highlight and said, I got to get into this sport. They also said that they would sacrifice anything for the Miami Heat to win a championship, and that the reason they run the account is because Pella is exactly the type of player who exemplifies Heat culture. When I reached out to them for any further comments they might have, they said, please tell Pella to wear a mask.
Taché.
The question I want to ask you now that we're all, or most of us, are slightly numb to drug suspensions and cheaters is, has there ever been, that you guys recall, an honest mistake? Like, can any of you remember a situation where a guy is cheating and we have to go back and say, hey, I'm sorry, we got it all wrong? Like, where are the mistakes that you would have, or the excuses you would have, or the explanations that you would have that end up being verified so that the league would be wrong? Because one of the other things that's in play here, right? Paul George can say what he said because the NBA is contractually, legally obligated through collective bargaining to not say anything about it. It's a totally private issue. So he can say whatever he wants, and the league isn't going to counter that. The counter is, you're suspended, $12 million is what you end up losing. But can any of you remember a circumstance where the explainer or the excuser is actually being wronged? Is there any such thing as a false positive that any of you remember?
I remember Travis Henry appealed in the NFL, and he actually won the appeal. That's the only one I could ever think of.
That's a good one, because I didn't even remember that one. The cynicism around this feels to me like it's earned just because the league does this so rarely and has to be careful about doing it, because you're taking $12 million from somebody.
Whatever happened to the Al Jazeera report with Peyton Manning's wife getting stuff, and then all of a sudden, his neck was okay, they won a Super Bowl, and then it kind of disappeared? Was he wrong there? Was he not wrong?
It was not reported as he was wronged. He was claiming that is HGH or testosterone that's being sent to my wife, allegedly, and then it just faded away.
The league apparently looked at DeAndre Ayton's and believed that there was no malicious intent there to bypass the rules. There was zero trace of any PED. But
because he had a diuretic in his system that flushed.
But that's enforced in the law. The diuretic that he tested positive for is known to help flush systems out. But that's the last that I'm seeing on that.
You guys were surprised, were you not, by the Paul George thing? Like the way that thing ends up happening, I think everyone has the same reaction, which is, I understand that we're used to these guys cheat. These guys try to cut every corner. Nobody is actually innocent. However, when a suspension arrives, it does so as a bombshell. Like Paul George being suspended for 25 games suddenly takes over the sports news stream. But you're not surprised by it?
No. I guess Aaron Ekblad got pinched for this, and he was a player that I guess for his roster was considered older, even though he's actually not an old man, but had been struggling through injuries, big price tag, wanted to be there for his team, and then found some consistent form, and then we get the positive result, and you realize, oh, maybe that's how he found it. I look at Paul George, I say that guy's body is broken by a long career. He's trying to live up to a contract. It matches the profile is what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, but I guess what I should have said, the way that I should have phrased it is, there's an initial surprise, and then what you do is you sort of go through the library of, oh, old player, just made 9 threes, has been struggling with a great many injuries. Like you go retroactively and you do the biography, but the initial news report to me landed like, whoa, I was surprised, but it had less to do with Paul George than it does with how infrequently that league does that.
But he's been in the league for a long time. He knows the rules. This isn't some rookie move.
Yep.
This is a guy that knows if you ever put anything into your body to
that's why
run
it's
it
BS.
by your training staff. So it might be the bullshit, Zaz.
It's the bullshit, Dan.
Thank you. Good analysis by all of us. It's the bullshit at Le Batard Show. Put it on the poll. Is that good analysis on the Paul George situation? It's the bullshit. Because I do believe that we got a new form of bullshit at the very least. We're agreeing with that, right? That's not an excuse.
That's a fresh manure. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
A maneuver or manure?
Both.
It does. Garners sympathy from the right kind of bad faith actors that are out there in the media landscape that want it to be known that they are an empath.
Name some names. Come on.
Finally, you say it.
That woke queen, Jeremy Taché.
We're good, buddy. No one's looking at us. We keep it moving. Gus Malzahn retired?
Now, you're not doing my character anymore.
Hey,
That was
inner
not-
dialogue.
That wasn't it. That what? Look, the other
You're
stuff.
thinking it.
Dialogue.
You're thinking it.
The other stuff.
What
Was,
about all these recruits that were betrayed by Gus Malzahn's dog and pony show?
the inner monologue was accurate right up until you got to Gus Malzahn. I was not thinking about him, not subconsciously.
Mike hasn't
not
been that
consciously.
involved. Look at him. Toss some FSU chum at him. Give him a shot. Work him in the offense.
Haven't been thinking about Gus Malzahn in any way. Don't care about whether he stays or goes. One of the worst college coaches to ever win a championship. Can you guys get me the sound here of Rick Barnes, who is not a comedian? Rick Barnes doesn't do a whole lot of just off-the-cuff improv when critiquing his players, and he realizes here in real time, the Tennessee coach, he's been at it a long time, he realizes, oops, that's not the way I should have said any of that.
I mean, at the end of the game, some of the passes that we throw, I mean, just, I don't know what to say other than sometimes I wonder if my guys are betting on games. I shouldn't say that, but, you know, that's what erase that. I don't want to say that. But I just wonder what's happening. I mean, because I know we're too good of players to do that. Was that a bad? I apologize. I shouldn't have said that.
That is some great body language. Like all of that.
Being genuine.
Oh,
and then, crap.
he's trying to hide behind his own hand.
Not
and
covering the face.
It's not a good hiding place.
I wish I saw the SID's face.
Well, but I think you
They
did.
created the camera
I
pan
think,
over.
Mike, I think you did see the SID's face when he turned to his left and searched and then immediately started apologizing. This is a coach who's been in charge for a long time. This is a man who knows what real power is. Watch how insecure he immediately becomes with body language and everything else, and watch how quickly he looks for the life raft of a public relations director off screen.
I mean, at the end of the game, some of the passes that we throw, I mean, just, I don't know what to say other than sometimes I wonder if my guys are betting on games. I shouldn't say that, but, you know, that's what erase that. I don't want to say that. But I just wonder what's happening. I mean, because I know we're too good of players to do that. Was that a bad? I apologize. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
SID standing like a referee when the kick is
come
no
on!
good. He's like, no.
It's just the body language is so good because he's initially frustrated by just, oh, we're bad passers, and oh, I've made it worse, and then the nervous laughter, and then this is a position of power, and ooh, I cannot have with around point shaving scandals and FBI investigations. I cannot welcome people to wonder whether our bad passes are because my guys are betting on games.
Suspicions are a bit heightened around my sport specifically. Ooh. No one was going to be paying attention to anything he said in that presser. No one. I defy you.
That's correct.
Find the Twitter
That's
account.
correct.
It's like
That's
Rick Barnes
correct.
says effort needs to be better. You would never have heard it.
There is.
This was so avoidable.
It's not only that it's
Got Peter Burns tweeting about it.
It's not only that it's avoidable. It's that Rick Barnes, for decades now, has come in and out of press conferences without saying anything at all that anyone cares to remember. Like, he has a mastery of doing press conferences that no one remembers the echo of anything that he has said.
35 years strong, Dan. Not a word. I couldn't tell you a word he said outside of that time that he joined us on our show and opened the door to NASCAR talk.
Can you guys think of, in the hypothetical, something worse that he could have said in fiction than what it is that he said? Outside of slurs and things that would get you immediately fired, what is the thing that he could have put out there that no one was actually thinking about worse than the thing that he did put out there?
I tested positive for drug performance because of my mental health.
No.
You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone in sport that has said less over the course of 35 years than Rick Barnes.
It's real.
This is uncharacteristic.
You know what? I'm giving him a pass. He's all right in my book. No problem.
Okay, that's good. I'm sure he feels better about that today. That some guy in Miami who pulled out a Bob Saget shirt that's been in his closet for 30 years this morning because it's too cold gives him a pass for making what is an identifiably egregious mistake. An egregious mistake that I'm sitting...
Identifiably? Shit.
I didn't even notice I'd done that. That's not in my...
Stop talking to me.
As you described an egregious mistake. Identifiably egregious mistake.
That's a play on for me. Go ahead, Dan.
Thank you. I appreciate, Tony, your compassion in these moments.
I'm an empath.
So Tony's compassion, Chris's compassion for Rick Barnes, but
you're an idiot.
Empathy for
You're
Paul
a fool.
George, and
Yeah,
I'm a
you're
fool.
Toughen up.
I mean, at this point, Jeremy, I believe that everyone listening to this, no matter their level of empathy, thinks that people in sports who get caught cheating are actually cheating. Like, I don't know where it changed for you guys. I told you guys the story, right, of this. This is funny. It's a funny story because I was suspended from ESPN for a year, but no one told me. I didn't know that I was suspended for a year. And the reason I was suspended for a year is because Lance Armstrong was about to host the ESPYs. And I'm like, I don't get it. Lance Armstrong's list of things on circumstantial evidence that he's a cheater is here. And Barry Bonds' list of things that he's a cheater is here. And one of them is Barry Bonds and vilified identifiably. And the other is hosting the ESPYs as an American hero. Lance Armstrong, for me, the boldness of the lies and all of that is sort of a mark, a point where everyone can say, okay, they're all doing it now, because what he was selling us optically was that he was Captain America, right? So at this point, I'm assuming that anyone who has watched sports for even a modicum of time doesn't believe an excuse that any athlete makes if an athlete is accused of cheating. Never mind caught cheating, if it's the Astros or anything else. Doesn't it stand to reason? Never mind athletes getting old and mortality and not wanting to get old. Doesn't it stand to reason that if athletes are looking in every crevice and corner for an advantage, that the pharmacy would be one of them? Like, it's just the most normal thing in the world. And I'd argue that if Paul George has been doing whatever he's been doing that made him have 9 threes in a game and look athletically, he was doing, 360 windmill dunks in practice and then got tested. Like, it happened right after that. If that works for Paul George, it's almost worth the risk and the $12 million. If it's something that actually works for an extended period of time. I don't know if he's caught immediately upon using or not. I don't know how it is that happens. But if this, it would be really bad luck, right? If the first time he's using it is immediately when he gets caught. Of course. Well, okay. So if it actually makes you feel better, what do you imagine Paul George would pay for anything that's a fountain of youth?
So you're saying maybe even though he's losing $12 million right now, maybe he's made countless amount of money because he had not been caught. If
I
you
have
don't
the count
believe
for
it's
you.
the first time.
$406 million in his career that he's made. $12 million isn't even a fraction of that.
You don't even associate that league with catching anybody on this stuff. Like they don't have that problem. Like nobody listening to this thinks that basketball has a performance enhancing drugs problem. Look, man, last week David Sampson comes on here and says that Michael Jordan, that wasn't a suspension. Michael Jordan left the sport for 2 years because of whatever was around gambling, and that is where his cynicism and his suspicion, and many people have it, will point to something like Michael Jordan. When I have said, and I have not accused LeBron James of performance-enhancing drugs, but he's an unprecedented human body. And when faced with things I've never seen before in sports, ever, I don't just shrug my shoulders and assume that people aren't using. Like, who would shock you? Let me do it another way. Is there anyone who would shock you? Because if right now, hypothetically, and I'm not saying this, but if right now, hypothetically, I said, hey, Shohei Ohtani, you'd then go back and do well, wait a minute. Of course, it's an unprecedented human body doing unprecedented human things. How surprised am I allowed to be?
Right. We're talking about current active players, we would be surprised?
I'm saying that if we've arrived at a place of cynicism where Mike's shrugging his shoulder, yeah, Paul George, not surprising, nothing surprising. There's nothing surprising about an athlete cheating. Who's surprising? Are we doing this just physically? Is there someone who's great who could surprise you or would surprise you? Is there anything out there that would be something that the audience would say, I can't believe it? I've had the optics of what I thought a person was have been shattered for me, forever changed. It's not the same way as it was before. That person who I thought was pure is now a cheater.
It's got to be LeBron, right? Like the longevity, just everything being it. You don't think it would be a massive bombshell?
It'd be a bombshell, but you wouldn't be surprised, would you?
There we go.
Surprised.
That's the good stuff. Got other people to accuse LeBron. He's cheating, right? Unless he has a mental health issue, then I'm an ally.
So after the Rams-Seahawks game that was a legitimately great game between teams that are rare in that sport in that we know they're good. We knew both of those teams are good. We don't have any questions about how good they are. You can have your quibbles with Denver, with the Patriots because of the schedule they've played. But I think all of us watching Rams-Seahawks know that both of those teams are good football teams. And I was talking about imperfect measurement systems after that game because the point of the games is to get to the television dollars and get everyone paid. It's not actually to measure the best team. We all understand that part, right? That's not cynicism. The point is not to have the best measurement system.
Sure it is cynicism. You can look at it the way that most sports fans look at it, which is, I want my team to win a championship. That's what they really play for.
Right, but history will remember whoever wins the Super Bowl forever as the best team, but the Denver Broncos played 17 games to get this much of a home field advantage and then are playing without their starting quarterback and lose by 3 points. Maybe the Patriots are the better team. That game doesn't prove it. They just won because, at least in part, the Broncos didn't have their starting quarterback and the game had to be played. Correct?
You're on like a weird sports nihilist kick, though. That's the breaks in that sport. Like tons of fans will be like, our season was undone by injuries. It pacifies.
I'm not on a weird nihilist take. I'm going somewhere with this. The thing that is the accepted measurement system is always flawed, and it doesn't matter what I think. History will remember that whoever wins on Sunday, no matter how they win, was the best team, whether it was so or not. That's how we're doing it. That's accepted. The part, though, that was funny to me about something that I did with Mina and Pablo on Pablo Torre Finds Out is we were talking about whether or not you like bad weather games. And I don't like them because they make the measurement system even dumber. The second half of the football game made to decide who will play the Seahawks in the Super Bowl was stupid. Fun to watch, visually lovely, nothing to do with how we do measurements on who's better. Nothing to do with it. But people love weather games. I'm in an unpopular opinion in wanting the game to be played in a way that offers me the best measurement because what I want is who's better. That's what I want from my game. Not is the weather affecting the game, not is it raining and snowing, but it's an unpopular opinion to have. Most people want to watch bad weather games, even though it can make the football stupid.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I kind of feel the same way about Thursday Night Football, where I like Thursday Night Football as long as my team's not playing in it. You know, I think it's a disadvantage for the two teams that are playing, but I like my Thursday Night Football. I like the bad weather game. As long as my team's not playing in it and my team's not at the disadvantage, I like watching the snow all over the field. I dig it. I like it.
So when you accuse me of nihilism, Mike, they're playing 17 games because Sean Payton very badly wants that last one to be played in his stadium because of the advantage that it is for that defense to be playing in that stadium and making a team in the Patriots who are unbeaten on the road have to climb over them. But there's no way of making the argument that convincingly outside of the scoreboard that we got an accurate measurement of who's better when one of the teams doesn't have its starting quarterback.
Well, isn't that the bigger reason why?
And the second half is totally the second half. It's not possible for anybody to play football in.
Yeah, but they both had to play in it, and I think you should be happy with the strides the NFL has taken in moving into these new billion-dollar stadiums, that there are fewer outdoor games now. They're all getting retractable roofs. They're already talking about a retractable roof in Denver for their next spot. All these places outside of Buffalo and Lambeau are basically trying to put a dome. Even the Browns' new stadium, that's an AFC North team. They're trying to put a dome on it, and it's part of the design. Chicago, their new stadiums, wherever state they decide to put it in, that's going to have a dome. Kansas City, that you could always count on Arrowhead being a weather stadium late in the season. That's going to have a dome. So I think you're getting more your way, and I think it's going to have a cool novelty to it to actually see snow and weather impact some of these games. I'm not with you on this sport needs to name the best team because I need that. No, I just need to name a champion. And these individual battles that teams spend weeks preparing for, that's part of it.
Yeah, the weather part is so much further down the rung of the reason that the Broncos lost behind. They didn't have their quarterback. Like, if they had their quarterback, they're probably going to win in the terrible weather game, right? I mean, they lost by 3 points with Jarrett Stidham. If Bo Nix doesn't get hurt, who cares about the cold weather? They're going to score more than 7 points. It was Bo Nix being out, which is why they lost, not because of the weather.
Yeah, but you don't have to be bothered by imperfect measurement systems. I'm not even bothered by it. They're all going to be some semblance of imperfect. It's not possible to make a perfect measurement system. If I were the Broncos, though, and people were saying to me today, the Patriots are better than you, I'd be like, they are? Like, are you sure?
But we like playoffs in this country. There are perfect measurement systems. Premier League. The team that wins the Premier League over the course of an entire season filled with fixtures that are one home, one away, where every team plays every team twice, like that's a perfect measurement system. There isn't a random playoff. They name a Premier League champion at the end of the season. We like playoffs in this country. We like playoffs even in that sport in this country.
that is also not a perfect measurement system because one goal is so valuable in that sport that you end up becoming something that is very difficult in small samples to measure when it's just one goal is it's so much larger in value than everything else that's happening. That is the way. There is no perfect measurement system. Actually, individual sports in team sports, I should say, because in individual sports like boxing and tennis and some other things, you're right that is a better measurement system than what it is that we're talking about.
Dan, but you're asking for a perfect measurement system in an imperfect game, right? The ball's oblong, the ball's going to bounce a weird way, weird things happen, right? If you look back and look at...
Did you look up oblong or did you know that?
No, oblong, I knew that.
You looked it up?
No, I knew it.
You knew it right now?
I knew it right now, so
I feel like
said it,
maybe before when you were gathering the thought, you went on to your computer
I was looking
there
at stats.
And you looked up oblong.
I was looking at stats.
I'm not sure I believe
And I'll tell you the stats that I was looking at right now. I was thinking of the 2007 Giants. If you talk about the best team, right? 2007 Patriots were the best team. They should have won by any metric because all the metrics told you they were the best team. Yet the little Giants came out, had a win against the Bucks, had a win against the Cowboys, came out and had a super, super big win in overtime against the Packers in sub-zero temperatures in Lambeau. And if that game gets played somewhere else, maybe there's a different scenario that ends up going on. Packers go to the Super Bowl, the Patriots beat them by 40, right? Like that one play, that one weather game changed the dynamics of everything that happened, led to the Giants beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
That's a great example because I still maintain that the Patriots, that team is the best.
It's better.
It's not just better. It's the best I've ever seen.
Of course.
It's not just better than the Giants and everyone else that season. Better than any I've ever seen. Mina dismisses all people who love the cold weather games as virtue signalers.
Oblongly.
Virtue signalers. You guys were all complaining about the cold
Say
this
it
morning.
one more time. The laughs will come.
Virtue signalers.
Shit. Bad idea by me. Let's keep it moving.
Dan, you don't believe that he knew oblong, right?
Virtue signaler.
All right, that one's on you. I tried to talk you out of it.
I believe that oblong is how you say I belong.
Oblong.
You can make 3 syllables, 1 syllable better than just about anyone I've ever met. Did you guys watch the Grammys last night? Because I'm convinced that what we're headed toward this weekend is the Bad Bunny Bowl, also featuring football.
I watched almost the entirety of the Grammys, and
Really?
I just kind of fell asleep. Yeah, I fell asleep just before Album of the Year. And I liked it. I always like the Grammys. I like the musical performances.
Who performed?
Oh, man, the entirety of the Best New Artist category. Reba McEntire did it for the first time. There was a cool Post Malone moment
Lauryn
there,
Hill.
too. Lauryn Hill, the first time that she played in
She
like
showed up
16
on
years.
time?
Did a nice little tribute to D'Angelo, among others. So I watched the entire show, and this is the first time in what I think several years. Like you could always count on it in the Golden Globes and in Hollywood, but a lot of award shows have really toned down making MAGAs feel bad about themselves or their decisions because they've all been told like it actually affects ratings. But the go woke, go broke thing is not. It's a bit of a fallacy. And it was cool to see pop culture kind of once again find its collective balls and say, no, you're going to deal with this here. You're not going to have your soft comforts of me not having to tell you this is bad. You're going to have to hear that this is bad. And by comparison, it's going to make people like Jelly Roll, who have been living in this really awesome, how great is life? This is great. We can all get together. I don't actually have to have any opinion to speak into a microphone and show their ass a little bit. So I kind of like that society is forcing people's hands again. Like, nah, we play by your rules for a couple of years, making you feel better about things, and now people are dying in the streets. I like that the culture came back and met people.
Bad Bunny doesn't normally make political statements, does he?
He does.
He does. He's been known to make political statements, especially when it comes to LGBT, conversations and stuff. He had dressed as a woman in one of his songs, 5 or so years ago. So he's not one who's going to shy away from stuff like that. But just from the musical perspective, he won Album of the Year with a great album. And it's just cool to see somebody Hispanic be at the top of not only the Latin Grammys, obviously, but as the regular Grammys, where it's like, all right, we're here. Like, you have to pay attention to us now.
First time a Spanish language album has won Album of the Year. At the
How about
Grammys.
first time 2 pro wrestlers won Grammys?
That's right. Bad Bunny has won.
And Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll, that's right. He wrestled on SummerSlam.
Forgive me. I was of the impression that Bad Bunny makes political statements through the art, not speaking at a microphone.
The
while
opposite.
No,
the
he talks a lot about eating ass and taking photos. Caught that part.
Te vi tirar una foto de cuando te tuve.
But occasionally there's like a lyric about ass.
Let me hear what it is that he had to say while winning Album of the Year in a climate, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Florida, which has been aggressively bad about some of this stuff, Florida is now making it so that driver's license tests are only in English, not Spanish, not Creole, not anything, just aggressively unwelcome to people who don't speak English if they want to drive in this country. Can we hear the sound from Bad Bunny last night?
I'm going to say, eyes out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans. The hate get more powerful with more hate. The only thing that is more powerful than hate is love. So, please, we need to be different. If we fight, we have to do it with love. We don't hate them. We love our people, we love our family, and that's the way to do it, with love. Don't forget that, please. Thank you.
I have always thought that it is very difficult in a second language to talk about some of this stuff because many people who are hearing that, whoever is on the other side of that, are just thinking he's an idiot because he's trying to speak a second language and he's not doing it with the fluency of his first language. It's much easier to learn a language before the age of 6 than it is to learn a language, the way the brain chemistry works on human beings than after the age of 6. So he's speaking in a second language, and I was just always of the impression that he didn't do things like that in English, at least in part because so often famous people who are speaking in their second language are afraid to sound stupid. I sound stupid sometimes speaking Spanish because it's my second language. I would not attack difficult subject matter in Spanish, wouldn't even come near it because I wouldn't be comfortable that I would express myself correctly in that language.
It's incredibly cool to see because a couple of years ago, Bad Bunny didn't have any English chops, right? Like, you would hear him on songs and maybe he had one word in English if he was featured on an English song, but he's come a long way in, being able to describe himself and speak eloquently and almost fluently to try and get like the main topics around. So it's a big piece of growth for him.
What are you guys expecting on Sunday, both in action from him, but reaction to him? Like what's going to happen?
People are going to freak out. People are going to freak out. Yeah, I mean, because every year we do this, right?
Really? But they got their own halftime show this year, right? So they're not going to be upset about Bad Bunny because they have choices. They got the turning point thing.
Who's the other thing?
What? Who's on the other one?
Yeah.
Jelly Roll.
For real?
People are going to freak out. Every year we do this, okay? And some people really enjoy the halftime show and some people really hate the halftime show. And this one is going to be the most polarizing of all of them because there's never been a lead up to a halftime show.
Most polarizing of all of them?
Yeah. What would you say has been the most polarizing halftime show?
Just during this climate with Kendrick Lamar, if we're choosing sides on everything, on every single thing, Kendrick Lamar rapping at an aggressively black halftime show that has to be run by Jay-Z because they're trying to diversify an NFL that is trying to recover from Colin Kaepernick, that one was pretty polarizing.
It was polarizing because of the the pop culture climate between Drake and between Kendrick Lamar.
That was the main
conversation.
That
was more so than anything.
That was
that was, this is aggressively black.
Right. Is he going to say pedophile?
It was aggressively Drake versus
That was
Kendrick.
the whole story.
100%.
Oh my God, I can't believe he said A minor. You know, everyone was going crazy about it. That's not what the reaction of this is going to be. This is going to be a cultural, racial deal that the fallout is.
And to be fair, this is not the first time that Bad Bunny's performed at the Super Bowl, because he was a guest on the Shakira J-Lo one from 2020, right? Where everybody was like, oh, wow, this is the most aggressively Latin, vibrating, different, halftime show. Bad Bunny was there. Now, this is him, 6 years later, basically. And at that point, I was telling you, he's the biggest artist on the planet. And then all of a sudden now, again, not wrong, just early for me. Where was Taylor Swift last night? I didn't see her.
Tony does keep saying that. I was not wrong. I'm never wrong. I'm just early. Do you guys know the origins of how it is the halftime show became the seismic thing that it is? For those of you who do not know some of the details, the artists are not paid. They get a budget to perform, but the artists are not paid. The way they are paid is that sales always spike in an enormous way when America at large is introduced to an artist, no matter how popular, during the halftime show. But are you guys aware of the history? Because some of you, I don't know if Jeremy and Tony, if they are old enough to have remembered when In Living Color kind of stole the halftime audience one time on a competing network, because during the halftime show of football, there was something that made people leave football and go to see Jim Carrey and what the Wayans brothers were doing on In Living Color. And that's the moment that changed, where the NFL was like, no, we can't have the audience leave during our football game because we have a commercial interruption. And now you have a concert that is going to be I don't know if it's as anticipated as the game, but I'm not joking that much when I say it's a Bad Bunny concert also featuring football, given that even though this is the most surprising Super Bowl there's ever been between the opponents, it doesn't seem to have the interest level that the pop culture phenomenon that is one of the biggest artists in the world performing in a way that Zaslow is saying it's going to be crazy. You guys don't seem to agree with that, though. Zaslow is saying something. Zaslow is saying that this is going to be the most polarizing show there's ever been because he's going to be speaking. I just told you, in Florida, the political climate has gotten so bad that any nationality that doesn't speak English is going to have trouble getting a driver's license because they've ceased allowing you to take the test in something that isn't English. If you thought you didn't understand Kendrick Lamar's lyrics in a very black halftime show last year, what are you going to do when you don't speak Spanish and Bad Bunny is making you dance anyway because he's using lyrics that don't have English in them?
But that's Tazaz's point. It is the most polarizing halftime show of the entire, history of this because it's not in English.
And what happens when he comes out wearing a dress?
I don't know if he's going to do that. Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that.
But it's also that was sort of talked down after it became an internet rumor. But the bigger part is not just like, oh no, pearl clutching over Spanish. They're literally sending ICE to the event. Like, Donald Trump is going to make a political display of this, whether Bad Bunny does or not. And mind you, the pregame show performer is Green Day. And back in 2016, they were saying, no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA in chanting at award shows. It was the first true, like, hey, this guy's a fascist political statement made by an artist. That was a decade ago. So if you think they're going to start this thing quietly after Bad Bunny just said that at the Grammys in the lead up, because that was part of it with Kendrick too. He won Album of the Year, and then he was performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. So there was this week in between for everybody to get even more hyped up about what was going on. After Bad Bunny says that, if you don't think that the Trump administration is going to make a thing of this in a protest of the NFL, which they've already done before, that's really what's adding fuel to that fire.
The ticket prices are really high. I don't know if they're going to find anybody there that's going to be of Hispanic origin to afford those prices. Anyways.
Also, Bobby Kraft's like, come on, take it easy this once.
But also, this is Bad Bunny, the first time he's performing songs from this album in the United States, right? Like, his entire thing.
Oh, didn't he cancel his tour?
The tour was never canceled. It was just a residency in Puerto Rico to have everybody fly in to Puerto Rico. He's also doing a world tour that does not include the United States. So this is the first time that you'll be able to see and hear these songs in the United States, and that makes it, again, such a big deal.
Did you guys, speaking of football, have any opinion or care about the news that the Ravens have hired as a coordinator Declan Doyle, who is 29 years old, and they move away from Harbaugh and whatever it is that the stability of Harbaugh is? I learned last week with you guys that Harbaugh, like Chris Fowler, is 65 years old. I was stunned. Both of those people look much younger than 65 years old.
We are so old that people named Declan are being coaches, and like that was like for me, Declan's like that new like 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds. Like the fact that there's a 29-year-old named Declan just makes me feel really old.
I felt a little weird over the weekend, too, where I realized that every first-year NFL head coach that's forever now going to be hired, all of them younger than me. Like, I'm always now going to be older than every first-year NFL
Need another
head coach.
Pete Carroll in there.
You know?
I think the Dolphins just hired somebody older than you. I think Hafley is a year older than you. But getting back to Declan Doyle and the idea of what kind of young is too young, he's the same age as Lamar Jackson. The coordinator for the Ravens is the same age as Lamar Jackson. And at what point do you, as an audience, disqualify somebody with the ageism of that young person can't be such a savant that they are going to do something that is admittedly hard, right? The play calling, you've seen this year, you saw that the Lions' window closed because Dan Campbell can't do it, right? Didn't we arrive at, they missed Ben Johnson. Look at how the Bears took the division from the Lions. They took it from the division, in 1 year because Ben Johnson takes the play calling with him. What do you make of this movement that would allow a 29-year-old is damn close to savant, given the difficulties of what that job is?
It just feels like they're trying to get these guys younger and younger. You look at Sean McVay, who got a head coaching job at 30 years old, and now look where he is, a Super Bowl, almost made it to another Super Bowl. Like, he is one of those guys that are savant. You look at but this guy Declan Doyle, you're hoping to get one of these guys early so now he can be on your team for 5 years, 10 years, and then end up transitioning to be a head coach. Like, you got to get him young.
I mentioned this last week. Like, I've asked former players, they only care if you can get them ready for Sunday. They don't care about the guy's age. They don't care if he's played. They only care about the words coming out of his mouth and if they can get you ready for the game.
Just find the head coaching hire curious for Baltimore because they got out John Harbaugh and they replaced him with a Harbaugh guy, a guy that was on John Harbaugh's staff in Baltimore and then was with Jim in Michigan and with the LA Chargers. Like, they liked everything about John Harbaugh except for his dynamic with his quarterback. They're like, we just need to get you out of this building, but we like the way that you do things, so we're going to get the next John Harbaugh.
Can you guys walk me through the history of Declan Doyle, because I don't know how to separate the things that I'm about to say to you. Declan Doyle was already the coordinator of the Bears last year at 28 years old. But was he? Like, do we know enough to know whether that was Ben Johnson or Declan Doyle? Because I think most people are giving whatever credit you give to Caleb Williams' improvement. I don't think anyone's giving that to Declan Doyle. I think all people are looking at that, because we don't know enough, and saying that's Ben Johnson, not a Ben Johnson disciple, that's making Caleb Williams look like that. And furthermore, I would say that, man, the Bears had some fluky stuff at the end of games that doesn't have much of anything to do with play calling. Like, they had some wildly fluky stuff happen.
But again, the ball is oblong, Dan. Weird things happen in that game. All of a sudden, Caleb Williams is running 50 yards in the opposite direction and then throws a ball, and then all of a sudden it's Cole Kmet there at the end. Like, yeah, football is weird. Weird things happen.
Well, and to your point, I mean, Mike McDaniel was the offensive coordinator in San Francisco before coming here to Miami, but I don't believe he was the play caller. I'm not sure we could separate the difference between Mike McDaniel and the role that he was in as the whiz kid versus Declan Doyle. But all I know about Declan Doyle's age is I'm pretty sure he was a student assistant at Iowa while Lucy was still a student there, which shows you how young he really is.
The Dolphins did that with Joe Philbin, too. Joe Philbin was Aaron Rodgers' offensive coordinator. Yeah, but he didn't call any plays. Mike McCarthy called the plays. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing because Joe Philbin looks like he came from the age of pilgrims, and we're talking about a 29-year-old Declan. Like Joe Philbin.
You're right. I got to see what he looks like.
You do, right? At 29 years old.
I think you know what he looks like, though.
Look, at Le Batard Show, just put this on the poll. Do you trust a 29-year-old offensive coordinator? Yes or no? NFL, not college, not high school. Yes or no?
Lane Kiffin was 30 years old when Al Davis hired him as the Raiders coach, right? Like, and look where he is now, the biggest coach in college football.
Yeah, but he made a lot of mistakes in order to get there.
Yeah, come on, yeah.
Still can't be trusted.
That's a Lane thing, though, not an age thing, right?
All right, let's see Declan here. Yep, about what I thought he'd look like.
Looks like Lehman.
He looks like Ethan.
He does look like Ethan.
With a beard.
I would not trust Ethan with anything.
I think Ethan would be a hell of an offensive coordinator one day.
Never mind my offense. Look at poor broken Ethan in there. He doesn't like it. But I wouldn't trust you with my offense. No offense. Did you guys? I did not, much like with the Grammys, where I don't, one of the ways I age out is that I don't know a great many of the artists. I'm also aging out on some pop culture stuff. So someone like Glenn Powell eludes me, his fame. I saw The Running Man here, a remake of a movie. I really liked the original Running Man. And Glenn Powell made a new Running Man that has $110 million. Well, it depends on what you want, right? Because it doesn't have a terrible Rotten Tomatoes rating. It's not like Melania. It's got a decent rating for what it is, which is just a big, dumb action movie. But the part that I was surprised by and didn't understand in any kind of way is Glenn Powell was bad in it. And Glenn Powell, I'm stunned that I'm saying what I'm about to say, was a worse actor in this than Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the original. And so the popularity of Glenn Powell as an actor eludes me, but I'm being introduced to him here. He's popular. Have any of you seen this movie? Have any of you seen The Running Man? None of you? Neither the original nor the other one?
File this one away. We're gonna want to request Glenn Powell, and then I can get mad at everyone when we don't book him. Don't react to me, just keep it moving.
Dan, to your point, I haven't seen the original Running Man, even though I've been told by multiple people said that I would very much like it.
It was a good movie.
I'm excited to watch the old one, not the new one. Glenn Powell's okay. It's fine.
I don't know if it'll hold up, right, for today.
No way.
Well, keep in mind, though, at the time, you're talking about a really unique concept where a game show of people playing for their life, this was 1987 or whenever it was a unique concept, and I doubt very much that it holds up. But in 2025, with the stuff that we're talking about, ICE and otherwise, there is a good movie to be made inside of the concept of The Running Man. It could have been a good movie. It should have been a good movie if you're updating it with a $110 million budget. It was very much not a good movie and not worth watching, and didn't even honor the original the way that I would have liked it honored, because I was hoping that if they're going to take an original idea and make it unoriginal by just simply remaking it, you would do it better.
Just a scathing takeout of Glenn Powell's Running Man from Dan right now. He hated this one.
Well, I had expectations for it. I liked the original. None of you guys, Zaz, you saw the original Running Man. You could speak. You could speak to the, as our movie expert here.
I'm a great movie guy.
That I am sure Amin will have opinions on this when he joins us in the next hour. I am positive about that. The original Running Man, you would say was where would you give it on a Zaslow Rotten Tomato meter?
I mean, I haven't seen it in forever. I'm sure if I saw it now, it's not going to hold up. But I liked it when I saw it. I was a kid. Yeah, I liked it. What would you 1 through 10? 6.
No, that's not the way the Rotten Tomato meter works.
1 through 25.
It's
like, what are we doing
it's
here?
1 through 100 is the way that the Rotten Tomato meter works.
Can I tell you though, speaking of that Rotten Tomato meter, the Melania Rotten Tomato score is the funniest Rotten Tomato score I've ever seen. Dan, the media score gives it 10% on the left side, by the way. And the audience score,
he said it,
on the right side, by the way.
He said it.
99%. There's definitely, I would bet you there's never been an 89% difference between media and audience score. 89%? The audience is telling you it's a perfect movie practically. 99%. 10% on
Listen
the
to
other
the people.
It's a funny score, man.
It is. Let's look up. Can you look up for me, please, the greatest percentage of difference that there has been between audience and media? Well, no, but this has been happening more and more in internet critique, right? Where all of these movies that have a political leaning end up getting supported so strongly by the people who have that political leaning that what you just pointed out has happened more in the last 5 years than has happened in the history of Rotten Tomatoes.
To be fair and respectful to Rotten Tomatoes, they've got a good thing going. But I'm kind of done with them, if you want me to be honest. Nobody has a good movie anymore. There's not one movie that's been made that's good. Everybody says every movie is garbage,
You're
right?
done with them now after the Melania thing?
No, that's fine. I don't care about that.
That's it. I'm done with these folks.
To be honest, I didn't even know if it came out. But more importantly, it's that every movie we talk about, Dan just took out Running Man. Like, what was the last good movie? Can anybody agree on a good movie?
Don't do
What was a
that.
good movie?
No.
What was a good movie?
last good movie?
What was a good movie?
I saw
One battle after another was
Wait
good.
a minute.
Was it good? No, some people hate
Oh,
it.
no, we don't like that one.
No,
That was a bad movie.
I just saw this weekend.
Give me a good movie, Dan.
If I had legs, I'd kick you, and it was really good.
What a terrible take from
It's
Tony.
not a terrible
What's
take.
the last good movie?
Think about it. Everybody
know.
complains about
Look,
every
like,
movie.
Watch. I'm gonna try. Song Sung Blue.
Didn't hear it.
Yep. See, but not a good movie because you haven't.
I'm still trying to figure out what Hamnet is.
That is a bit of a triggering title.
That is stunning. That's a stunning take from Tony that we are no longer making good
According
movies.
to Rotten Tomatoes, no movie is ever good because if it's good, the critics like it, the audience hates it. If the audience loves it, the critics hate it. Figure it out.
Sinners on Rotten Tomatoes has a 97. Sinners does.
Not as good as Melania.
It has also, and it had 16 Oscar nominations.
How much they win?
Okay, well, it hasn't come. They haven't done the Oscars yet. It can't win the Oscars before the Oscars happen.
We don't find out the awards before the show, Tony. Do you understand how the Oscars work?
Don't worry about me.
Sucker.
I watched like 5 movies over the weekend. I got all sorts of takes. I saw the Anaconda movie.
Hold on just a second here. I got to get Tony out of here.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for verbal diarrhea.
What? Okay, talk about Anaconda with Jack Black. Good luck.
We will. I didn't like it. My biggest issue, not funny enough. It was pretty meta. They were trying to like do a movie behind a movie, a making of a movie, and like call out some of their script devices, but it just needed more laughs. Needed a little punch up on the comedy. There is one guy that essentially just plays Jon Voight's character and does a bad Jon Voight impression the entire time, and I enjoyed that, but I just wanted more hearty laughs.
Anaconda, difference between the media score and the audience score, only 27%.
Yeah, I would say the movie was just okay, but the thing that the comedy has working against it is it's not very funny.
How did you have time to watch 5 movies this weekend?
The temperature dipped below 40, so I just...
What else you watch?
Gummied up, watched the Royal Rumble, too. Got a breakdown of that. Saw Song Sung Blue. That. And I was told that there would be a twist. Woo! That movie did change quite a bit.
Do you guys have a Royal Rumble update? You ended last week by...
Yeah, it sucked, Dan.
A little disappointed,
It
Dan.
sucked. We were right to be worried about giving the second best pay-per-view over to Saudi Arabia.
Shouldn't have been over there.
It was not good. Bad vibes. The crowd, I couldn't tell if they were packed. Apparently, there was some sort of optical illusion.
Yeah, not good.
If I have to ask if there are people at this event, it's probably not a hot crowd.
I was distracted by the crowd the entire night, and not in a good way. Not good, Dan.
And Dan, we didn't get Chris Jericho. We were waiting for Chris Jericho's comeback, and then number 30 was Gunther, who had already retired AJ Styles, or at least retired him from WWE. More on
AJ
that
Styles'
in a
last match, man.
At least for WWE.
Yeah,
He didn't take his gloves off and put him in the ring.
And you know, all the women, they have to be dressed head to toe, like they can't show skin because they're in Saudi Arabia. And I mean, you know, come on.
The event just didn't have juice, Dan, and it was regrettable, to say the least. And if this is how we're starting the road to WrestleMania, I think TKO is botching it.
You guys don't do that very often. You guys don't come
All
down
too often
with...
now, I am. After they botched the John Cena thing, I'm like, all right, this product's just bad. It's gotta earn my respect.
I very rarely do that. That's not to say that I didn't enjoy the show. I did enjoy the show. I always enjoy the show. I enjoy wrestling. But I thought it was underwhelming. It was like, it wasn't that great.
How could you enjoy it if the women had to wear clothes?
What did you just do with I always enjoy it? It seems like you didn't.
Yeah,
You like said that you're like,
wrestling's
so
so
you
good.
just
It's
have
like
to
pizza.
say I always enjoy it.
No, it's
but
like pizza.
I didn't like it.
No,
It's
Mike's
like
right.
pizza.
Mike's right.
It's like pizza.
Yeah, pizza's always good.
Yeah.
But there's certain pizza that's a lot better. And Royal Rumble's always good. But there are Royal Rumbles that were
Pizza's not always good.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Hospital pizza is not good.
Right.
It's not
I'm with
good.
Dan on this.
Hospital pizza is never any good.
Unless you're hungry, and then they give you a hospital pizza, and you're like, all right, I guess this is fine.
I think you're wrong. I've never taken a bite out of pizza and said, I'm not going to finish this slice.
You think that hospital pizza is good?
Well, maybe I've never had hospital pizza,
No,
but
you're arguing
How
that
have you had so much hospital pizza? Like you can't even eat pizza.
How have I had so much hospital pizza?
You taking in the time to order it at a hospital seems like a strange order for a dude that can barely eat anything.
like Tom
did you order an entire pie from the hospital?
No, you can't even get an entire pie from the hospital. It's just these crappy cardboard slices from the hospital. Did you not see how I inflated next to my brother's deathbed? You're really asking me why I would be at the hospital so much?
You got fat? I thought you.
Yeah, I thought you lost a lot of stress weight. Is that because of the hospital pizza or the tragic death?
But did you finish the slice?
Guys, listen up. Super Bowl 60 deserves a sports book built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60. When anything can happen in the biggest game of the year, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If a player goes down early in the first half, you can still get paid in cash immediately once your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DAN. That's code DAN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
We've got an update to get to on the Doomsday Clock. It should be bigger news than it is, but before we do that, some more important news on Giannis Antetokounmpo. What a bull report here by Brian Windhorst, where he says he's leaning 51-49 that Antetokounmpo will not be traded this week. He says the Bucks are in a better position to trade this summer than they are now. The offers will be better. But the leaning 51-49, that seems a little bit flimsy. Also, Barry Jackson is saying that the Heat's offer, according to a source, is widely expected to include Kel'el Ware, Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier's expiring contract, another young player, and more, as well as first-round picks in 2030 and 2032, and possibly first-round pick swaps in 26, 29, and 31. Looking forward to what Amin has to say, whether he thinks that is the best offer that's going to be available for Giannis Antetokounmpo or not. So what do you think there before we get to the less important news of the Doomsday Clock being moved up a few seconds?
Yeah, I think it's a strong offer for sure when you think about what the other teams involved have to offer. I think Golden State, they come in with Kuminga and perhaps Jimmy Butler, although we've heard them walk back that part as well. But it really comes down to, if you're Milwaukee, what do you value? Do you value the picks? Do you value young players who have already been in this league and have shown an ability to play? Do you value the ability to clean up my books some? I heard you guys talk earlier about Miles Turner could usher or shepherd in Kel'el Ware and teach him about the league. If I'm the Bucks, the whole reason I got Miles Turner was to appease Giannis, to let him know, hey, we're doing everything we can. Once Giannis is out the door, why am I paying $100 million for Miles Turner? You got to take him too. If I'm them, I'm trying to dump salary as a part of this. And so if you can combine salaries enough to help them out, clean their books, in addition to give them young players, in addition to giving them picks, I think that's the best package that Milwaukee can hope for.
I mean, I thought Jeremy made a good point earlier with the Warriors apparently walking back the Jimmy Butler contract part. Is that, like, does that mean, if we're reading between the lines, that the Bucks said, no, we're not interested in that, and Golden State wants to make sure they don't sour the relationship with Jimmy moving further?
We're in the liar zone right now. People are saying anything, and none of it should we deem it to be true, especially as this team feels this. They are openly lying at all times because they're positioning themselves, they're posturing, and maybe they're trying to CYA on the back end as well. The reality is, again, if I'm Golden State, the strongest offer I can make is not just, here's Jonathan Kuminga. We think he's pretty good, just not for us. The strongest offer is, what's your bad contracts? What salaries are you trying to shed? How can we fix your books? Because this guy right here, he won't play until January, February, or maybe even February of next year at best. But I tell you what he's going to be, an expiring contract worth $50 million a year from now. That gives you some flexibility and leeway to do some other things down the line.
Going to get to Stugotz's, Amin's weekend observation.
It's okay. We're all right.
Going to get to Amin's weekend observations in a second.
No one noticed, I swear to God.
But what did you make of the Paul George suspension?
Well, I'm going to address it a little bit in the weekend observations, but the thing that was most shocking to me, Dan, was they never told us what the substance is. I've never seen that. I've seen guys get suspended for diuretics, for stimulants, for all types of different PEDs. I've never heard the league say, yeah, I got suspended for something. The only reason we know that it's because it's something he took for mental health purposes, as he claims, is because Paul George was the one that told us. So I am very curious as to why the league is deemed that this is one where we're not going to be 100% transparent on what he tested positive for.
What are your thoughts?
My thought, it happens. I had this conversation with Henry Abbott years and years ago because I used to say that I don't think basketball players do PEDs. It just doesn't help or whatever. And Henry Abbott looked at me and said, Amin, every single sport on the face of the earth has performance-enhancing scandals. You think basketball is just this charm sport that doesn't? Like, oh, they're above it. But track and field and swimming and and football and baseball and rugby, and like all the other ones do it. But this one sport is the one safe haven for it. Doesn't make sense. So from that perspective, yeah, I feel like it has to happen. But, for whatever reason, we don't have that many positive tests. But when you have a positive test, it's pretty obvious the guy did it.
I asked you a bad question because I'm still reeling from calling the weekend observation Stugotz's. The way that I meant to ask you that question is, what would be your theory on why the NBA wouldn't tell us what the drug is or what the suspension is for? Like you say, you've never seen that. I've also never seen the excuse of mental health medication.
Well, let me talk about the excuse first. It's what did Mina say? Virtue signaling? That's definitely some virtue signaling right there. The idea that, like, hey, what's one way I can cop to this and no one will point a finger at me? They'll all be very simple. Oh, the poor guy. I'll blame it on mental health. I'll remind you, Paul George was the guy that during the bubble played awful and said, yeah, I've been having mental health problems. And then he had a good game. He's like, my mental health problems are done. They're cured. I'm like, that's not how that works. It's not like, oh, I had a bad day at work. Must be my mental health. Good day at work. Oh, guess what? It's all cured. That's not how it works at all. So whether he does or doesn't is kind of irrelevant. At the end of the day, the thing that everybody on the show said is, correctly, is it's not like you and me. I went to the doctor and he prescribed me this. What? It's like, no, you don't do that as a professional athlete. There's no doctor that you see outside of the team construct. Anytime you're about to take any medication that is prescribed to you, it goes through the team. The trainers, everyone has to check for it, not because of an invasion of privacy, but because of this very situation right here.
Again, though, a theory on why the NBA wouldn't give us
I don't
details.
Know.
Okay.
I'm like Brian Windhurst with the 51-49. He gave that answer because he doesn't know. We don't know. But like you guys are, no, you have to know. You got to know.
No, I don't know is a good answer. But when faced with unprecedented things, I generally want theories that people have who are more informed than I am about why it is that you're seeing something. You're a veteran of this league. You're seeing something you haven't seen before.
I don't know. And it hasn't even been talked about that they like. That's always a weird thing to me. It's one thing that they didn't say it. It's another thing when I read report after report from ESPN, The Athletic. Everybody obviously wrote about it, and no one said. Curiously enough, they never mentioned what it was. That's the part that's weird to me. It's not that they didn't say it. It's that no one's asking why it wasn't said.
Tony, how much has the Doomsday Clock been moved by these doomsday scientists?
Yeah, Dan, I'm going to read you a little blurb, and then I'm going to toss to a sound that I thought was very impactful. So on January 27, 2026, the Doomsday Clock was set at 85 seconds to midnight, the closest the clock has ever been to midnight in its history. So according to the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists Science and Security Board, which sets the clock, called for urgent action to limit nuclear arsenals, create international guidelines on the use of AI, and form multilateral agreements to address global biological threats. So with all that as the framework, here's the video for them turning the clock to 85 seconds to midnight.
It is now 85 seconds to midnight. This is the closest the world has ever been to midnight.
Look at me, Louie.
It's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Look at me, Louie.
Again.
Look at me, Louie.
The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. I have one message for you. It's the bull.
What?
It's the bull, man. Because we're never going to get to zero. We're never going to get to midnight. It's always going to be, we're just there. We're right there. Why? Because the funding will stop if we do.
You think this is a funding
It's the bull.
concoction?
Of course,
okay.
man. What? Dan, everything is a funding concoction. Have you not realized that?
Put it on the poll
Welcome
at
to America,
LeBatard
Jack.
Show.
Thank you, Amin.
Is everything a funding concoction? Have you not realized that? Yes,
It's America, Jack.
Yes or no? It's America. It's America, Jack. What do you think of Tony's contention earlier in the show that no good movies are being made now?
Oh my.
No, I actually had this conversation, believe it or not, last night. I was talking about, I've been starting to bone up on the Oscar nominees. So I watched one battle after another that everyone kissed its ass. It's amazing movie. Paul Thomas Anderson, he's a genius. And I watched it. It's not a bad movie. It's a good movie. But, like, it's not this, oh, my God, how could, no way. Dude. As I said to my friends last night, I said, put it up against Pulp Fiction that did not win Best Picture. No, it's not even close. Like, Pulp Fiction's a million times better as a movie, and that's like one of our losers. And this one is like one of the lead contenders to win Best Picture. Come on, man. These movies are okay at best. Although I will say, Dan, I enjoyed the Glenn Powell Running Man. I was pleasantly surprised. I'm like, not bad. Again, not a great movie. Not a great movie, but it was all right. It was entertaining.
Like, I mean, how you felt about one battle after another is exactly how I felt about Sinners. Sinners is a good movie, but I was expecting the Sinners, it was going to change my life when I sat down and watched it.
That's my point.
It's a good movie.
That's my point, though. My point is there's no movies that we're going to look back in 50 years and be like, wow, this is the most incredible movie of all time. Like, we don't have that. The Godfather's 55 years old, and we say it's the best movie of all time.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Now, I will say this year, I don't know if it was nominated or not. Mike mentioned Sing Song Blue. That's a great movie, dude, because it went one way and then it made a left turn that reminded me of From Dusk Till Dawn.
Really?
Like,
It's like that?
It's not like the same content matter, but just the idea of like you're watching From Dusk Till Dawn, and it's like, oh, they're doing a heist, they're trying to get across the border, like oh, I know what this movie is about, okay, and then they end up at the strip club, and all of a sudden the vampire spoiler come out, and like, oh my God, what? Yeah. I didn't see this coming at all. That's what Sing Song Blue was
you
like.
sold me. I'm going to see it now.
Oh, you'll love it.
I'm going to see it now.
Wait till Zaz finds out that the twist is that Eddie Vedder's in it.
Get the hell out of here.
There's a guy that, I swear to God, hey, I'm Eddie Vedder. There's a guy that plays Eddie Vedder.
I'm going to watch it now because I had no interest in that
There's
movie.
a guy that plays Eddie Vedder in it poorly.
Yeah.
Before we
I
get
thought it was him.
to your weekend observations, I want to play for you a couple of different sounds. Zaz, do you have any opinions on the sound we're about to play of LeBron James saying basically that he did not think about the All-Star game in any way?
Oh, my God. Yes, I have opinions about it. Yes.
Did you think that this All-Star streak was in jeopardy?
I'm going to be honest, I really didn't think about it, to be honest. It wasn't a goal of mine to come into the season, miss the first 14 games and say, okay, I need to be an All-Star. You know, I just wanted to get back to playing the game at a high level I knew I was capable of once I kind of worked the rust off of missing preseason, training camp, my summer workouts, which I've never done in my whole career. So I didn't think about the All-Star game, to be honest.
Does everything have to be a lie? Like, does everything that he gives an opinion on or is asked about have to be just a blatant lie? I mean, over a week ago, 2 weeks ago, the All-Star starters were announced, and for the first time in his career, he's not going to be an All-Star starter. And he's going to say, and he prefaced it with, honestly.
No, he said 3 times. Let me hear how many times he said to be honest or honestly. It reminds me of every time Stugotz uses quite frankly.
Did you think that this All-Star streak was in jeopardy?
I'm going to be honest, I really didn't think about it, to be honest. It wasn't a goal of mine to come into the season, miss the first 14 games and say, okay, I need to be an All-Star. You know, I just wanted to get back to playing the game at a high level I knew I was capable of once I kind of worked the rust off of missing preseason, training camp, my summer workouts, which I've never done in my whole career. So I didn't think about the All-Star game, to be honest.
Does everything have to be a lie?
Well, when you say to be honest 3 times, you really
Are you
aren't
being honest?
using very good camouflage. What are your thoughts there, Amin?
Look, can I present a different hypothesis? Maybe he's saying to be Giannis. He's answering it as Giannis Antetokounmpo, not as LeBron James.
Third eye.
That's right.
All right, probably go to the observations. It's a means.
Third lie. Not third eye. Third lie. I'm not going to the observations yet. I want to get to this Reggie Miller sound before I get to the observations that are very much a means. Let's listen to...
Cool, and then yell at everybody when we run out of time. This is the move.
Wait a minute. Wait, see, the voice...
Don't react to me.
No, I have to react to you when you're not being me anymore. It's just you. No, it's just
No,
you.
I am
It's
being
you as
you.
my inner
You
monologue.
teaser the
No, you
seeds
gotta
of
be even.
resentment.
Stay in character as me if you don't want me to react to it. Don't
You
just
get mad at the clock.
Running out of time, Dan.
We're not running out of time.
means
We
observation.
are not. We'll get to him in a second. Give me the sound of Reggie Miller talking about Caitlyn Clark, please.
I know you guys have seen Caitlyn play. She's a one-of-ones, but is there like a comparison of somebody that you played with that you guys watching the game right now that reminds you of the young lady to your right?
I like Peyton Pritchard from Boston, the way he's able to handle the basketball. He makes big shots when the shot clock's running down, a lot like this young lady right here. Isn't afraid of the big moment and is a champion like she's soon to be.
Is he crazy? Is Reggie Miller a crazy person? Like, the NBA has been trying to prop up the WNBA forever. She's the most popular player ever, maybe.
She's insulted by that.
Look at her face.
Well,
Look
yeah,
at
hey, you should watch her. The most popular player in the league is just like a guy who comes off Boston's bench.
Play the video again, but zoom in on just her face and watch the light in her face go from, oh, all right, they're going to do some, is it going to be Steph Curry or are they going to say Kevin Durant? I wonder who they're going to compare me to. And he says Peyton Pritchard, and watch her face change.
I know you guys have seen Caitlyn play. She's a one-of-ones, but is there like a comparison of somebody that you played with that you guys watching the game right now that reminds you of the young lady to your right?
I like Peyton Pritchard from Boston, the way he's able to handle the basketball. He makes big shots when the shot clock's running down. This young lady right
Her
here
face is so good there. I think Peyton Pritchard is actually starting for them now. I don't think he's coming off the bench. But
He's been very good for them, too, by the way.
He's an excellent.
By the way, Carmelo was then asked about it, and he said Luka Doncic. So somewhere in between.
Your thoughts there, Amin? Any thoughts?
I love it. I just love to see the light disappear from someone's eye as everything they were hyped for comes crashing down in this moment. And shout out to her. She kept her composure. I don't know if I would. I was like, really? I would have hit him with that. But she kept her composure. She sat there and like just kind of took it like a champ.
It is time for to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy.
Weekend Observations is brought to you by Miller Lite. Legendary moments start with a light. Or a lie this week. Dan, there's 3 types of people in this world. Super Bowl week people and trade deadline week people. And I'm a trade deadline kind of guy. The Cleveland Cavaliers, good to know that everyone was paying attention. The Cleveland Cavaliers complete the blockbuster acquisition. I said 3 types of people in this world. I named 2, but nobody even flinched.
I'm looking.
Okay.
I'm holding 3 fingers up, asking, and Chris Cody's looking at me like, "What are you doing,
I'm
Dan?"
trying to lay out. It's his observations. I mean,
I'm holding up 3 fingers. I'm like, "Where's the third observation?"
I was looking at Peyton Pritchard's stats, 17 points a game, stats.
He's killing. He's killing.
That's
Let me
the
do that
best
one
player
again.
in the that's the face of the WNBA.
He's comparing her game.
It's
We're not talking
embarrassing.
about
It's embarrassing.
stature. There's 3 types of people in this world. Super Bowl week people, trade deadline week people, and I'm a trade deadline kind of guy.
The third?
Oh, people in the Epstein files. The Cleveland Cavaliers complete the blockbuster acquisition of Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder for DeAndre Hunter. And Dan Le Batard said no big deals would go down. Come on, man. Speaking of big deals, the question on everyone's mind is where will Giannis end up? Golden State, Atlanta, New York, Miami. My dark horse pick, Harvard Medical School. See him diagnose his own calf injury? 4 to 6 weeks, a soleus strain. Then I'll be back around late March. That was amazing. Guy's a doctor. Congrats to Miami's Norm Powell for being named a first-time All-Star. It has to be extra sweet that it'll happen in the building of the team that traded him away. He was on vacation when he got traded. He didn't even know it was coming. LeBron, pretending that this might be his last year without actually committing to it, thus getting him named to the All-Star game because this might be his last one. Heady play. Jarrell Miller got hit so hard his hair flew off. Does that come with a warranty? Like, does he go back and say, guys, it wasn't good, and like they cover it within 30 days, or is it once you walk out, it's yours?
Love it on the seat.
It's just so good. I'm telling you that there's no funnier way. It flying off and spinning like a Frisbee onto someone else's head is the only way it would have been funnier than the way that it happened.
I can understand the shame of being a bald boxer. Oh my gosh. Think of what everyone would say. They found out he was bald as a boxer. I've never seen one of those. Basketball Illuminati. We interviewed Tipper Not Sports. This is the man who makes the lip reading videos. I don't know if you guys have seen these. Me, Tom Habit Show. It's produced by Anthony Mays. Wherever you get podcasts, keep the third eye open. It's a fun episode. Check it out. Misconnection. You were the Uber driver with the pretty smile who picked us up from the casino. I was the drunk asshole in the back, loudly demanding you take us to the casino. Don't look now. Here come the Clippers.
Yeah.
Paul George doesn't deserve a suspension. He deserves a refund. Really? PEDs? You missed 17 games. You're shooting 42% from the field. This is with the PEDs. Jesus. Jeremy hypothesizing that maybe Paul George took a Xanax. Tell me you've never popped a Xan without telling me you've never popped a Xan. Dude, Xanax? He'd be sleepwalking out there.
He has been.
I didn't say he'd take it for the game.
I once took a quarter tab of Xanax from Michelle Beadle on a flight because she doesn't like to fly. I said, let me try it. I was in a coma. They had to shake me awake when we landed and say, look, the plane's almost empty. Imagine taking that and go play basketball. Oh, my God. Why do we say get pinched when it comes to getting caught doing PEDs? Get pinched. Why don't we just say he was caught, he was found guilty? We say pinched. Only for PEDs, though. Nothing else.
Can you guys take a pinch down? Can you look that up for us? Well, getting pinched is also something that happens if you're jailed, if you're imprisoned or arrested, but I don't know where the expression comes from.
I use it if I'm not entirely sure what the punishment was, if there was an appeal process. I just know that someone got their name dragged into stuff. So you got pinched, right?
Death, taxes, and the Le Batard Show narrating word for word a clip and then playing the clip. Did it earlier today with Reggie Miller, his comments on the Dan Patrick Show. You guys literally said word for word what he'd say, and then let's listen to the clip, and then you just played the clip.
Yeah.
Pick one.
Yep, agreed.
Is it just me, or does the Wade statue go Meh! In your heads too? Hot take. The Australian guy who threw that chair, good teammate. Everyone's laughing at him because he hit his buddy, but guess what? Came to the rescue. And by the way, this angle doesn't show us the look on his face. Yeah, there you go, the face palm.
Yeah,
he knew he made a mistake. My bad.
Yeah, he looks like Rick Barnes.
That was on me. That was off me, coach. But it's like he was trying to do the right thing, trying to stick up for his buddy.
I mean, did you also see that they're wearing the exact same outfit?
That's what you do sometimes.
Both guys are wearing
especially in
blue
Australia.
shirts with khaki pants.
In Australia, that's how they do, man. We go to the strip club. What you want to do? Blue shirts and khaki pants. All right, let's go. And you stroll right in. And then all the strippers like, oh, my God, they must mean money because they're dressed alike. Because who else would do that? Classy Australian guys, that's who. There it is. Look at this. Tell me that's not a good teammate. Like, they try to stop me. Like, no, my mate needs me. No.
We have cameras everywhere, and
The way that guy falls is
I'm so
funny every
thankful.
time.
Well, but here, just play the 2 different camera angles because I'm telling you, this is better than the Running Man that had a $110 million budget. This here is better than CGI in terms of having enough cameras from every angle.
Guy sidestepping it.
In order, it's just so good as video from every angle. That guy walking down the street, looking back over his shoulder while drinking a cup of something. God, look.
He looks back the way that dude looked back at Dominic Foxworth after, you know the picture I'm talking about, where Dominic just got burned and he's on the ground and the guy's looking back at him.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Cinephobe episode 298, Trippin', starring Dion Richmond, Donald Faison, Guy Torry, Anthony Anderson, and Countess Vaughn. Fun fact, despite playing high schoolers, most of the cast was in their mid-20s, and Guy Torry was almost 30 when they shot this. Zaz.
Yo.
Was that the K-Rod Lincoln Kennedy interaction? Is that true?
Yeah.
Did you go to the FHM party that night?
I did.
How was it?
I don't know, man. It was 20 years ago.
Dude, come on, man. It's the FHM party. You remember these things. Maxim, FHM,
Yeah.
King Magazine.
Playboy.
You all had parties, man.
Yeah. It's cool.
You ever been to a Playboy party?
Yeah. Went that week.
How was it?
That was good. Saw Mike Tyson.
Darren Peterson versus AJ DeBanza. Preview for the next decade. Congrats to Carlos Alcaraz, youngest to complete career Grand Slam. Shout out to the guy who tweeted, "I never pass on a chance to make $200 in my sleep," along with a screenshot of his $2,600 bet on Yannick Sinner to beat Djokovic.
Ouch.
He followed that up with, "Only way Sinner loses," I think he meant loses, "is via injury, and it'll void if that happens, so there's no way I can lose." Famous last words. He went straight to betting hell with that one. Speaking of hell, Art Briles. And those are the weekend observations.
I noticed something from that Australia video I had not noticed before in the breaking down of the assortment of things that we did in that clip. Can you guys take a look at the second bouncer after his mate lands on the floor? I had not noticed how happy the second bouncer was while laughing at the guy who was holding his hands, his head in his hands. Look at the second bouncer just taunting him, holding his hand over his mouth and pointing at the
like, "You
guy.
idiot.
You moron, you've knocked out your mate."
I just noticed the first time that he goes before throwing the chair to pick up like the stanchion thing that's holding the rope.
Too heavy.
He's like, "I'm gonna hit you." Oh, too heavy. I'll go get a chair.
Amin, I saw last night, I was watching Oklahoma City knock out Denver, Denver at home. Oklahoma City seems still to be overwhelmingly better than everybody else. But do you think there's a shot of Giannis ending up there? Nobody's talking about that as one of the possibilities.
No, I think Sam Presti is someone who's very averse to midseason deals. He's a guy that only does that when he has a guy who is coming up on free agency and he doesn't want to lose him. So that's typically what they do. But in terms of just rearranging the deck chairs, not really an MO of Oklahoma City. And they're excellent.
That's not rearranging deck chairs to add Giannis to a team that's the defending champion. That's not that's not a rearrangement of deck chairs. That is, you have the young pieces that you need, and you have the draft picks to make the best offer, and this player's available. And if you want to hit the league in the face with, "Yeah, we're better than you. Watch this." Like, Giannis isn't going to make them worse, is he?
No, he's not going to make them worse, but he might slow down whatever progress they have for this season, right? There's a big chance that they're going to win as is. You bring in Giannis, that's a lot of change. That's not someone who just plug and play. You have to change a lot of things in order to make it work, and so you might be jeopardizing a title this year for the hope that you can win a couple in the future. The other part of this is there's a lot of financial things happening with Oklahoma City that I don't know how it's all going to play out, because right now it's easy. Everyone's on their rookie deals for the most part, other than Shea and a couple other guys. But you've got Isaiah Hartenstein is going to be coming up on his deal, not this summer, but the following summer. And then obviously Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren both hit max money next year. Oklahoma City's financial situation is going to be really upside down very quickly here. So they've got to kind of figure out, if they do make a Giannis deal, how do they make it so that their salary does not explode and go to a crazy place?
I mean, Star Wars Episode 5. What was the title of that one? Star Wars Episode 5.
The Empire Strikes Back.
The Empire Strikes Back. Adam Silver struck back, and I feel like he sent the atomic clock, and he set it to midnight for the Clippers because Kawhi Leonard has been playing incredible basketball and suspiciously not an all-star at the Intuit Dome at home in Los Angeles. Maybe feels like the aspiration situation. Adam Silver made a call and said, hey, look, not happening. Not this one. But that's all he'll get. All he'll get is Kawhi missing the All-Star game. There's going to be no penalty further after that.
Yeah, the fact that the Clippers don't get an all-star, despite playing objectively great basketball here over the last 10 games or 10, 15 games or so. I mean, everyone thought their season was over. That pick's going to go to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's going to get like a top 3 pick. And quietly as kept over the last 15 games, they're tied for the best record in the entire NBA with the Detroit Pistons. They've been winning, and Kawhi's been playing, and he's been amazing. I saw them last night here in Phoenix, and Phoenix has been playing well and winning as well. But they came in, and Kawhi Leonard put his stamp all over that game. He's incredible. He looks every bit as good as he was in San Antonio and Toronto. And for him to be left off, and again, I hate to keep harping on it, but because we think this might be LeBron's last one, that really didn't sit well with me, particularly because over in the East, Pascal Siakam got in, and his teams, they've won 13 games. The Clippers have won almost that many games in the last 20 games. They won 13 all season long, but Pascal Siakam gets named to an All-Star game. But I'll tell you guys this, and this is really the big problem. It's not that LeBron is maybe or maybe not retiring. It's not that, the Clippers are getting punished. It's that this format where we have USA versus the world, we have now earmarked 8 spots for international players and 16 spots for American players. So now we're trying to fill these quotas, and that is what's kind of creating some of these issues. It's like, hey, we can't have this guy here. Then we'll have too many American players. We need an international player. They're trying to do the math behind the scenes, and the reality is this. If you're complaining about it, guess whose fault it is? It's you, the players. It's your fault. We have to come up with gimmicks because you didn't take it seriously. And so now this is what happens.
In a normal world, Kawhi would be in over Deni Advia.
I want to give.
He's been great, though. He's been great this season.
He's been great continuously, like the entire season. I think he deserves to be an all-star. To me, the guy is LeBron. And not that LeBron hasn't played well. He's played well, but he hasn't played better than Kawhi. And he missed, by his own admission, 14 games. I don't think he was actually lying in that clip. I missed 14 games. Why would I be an all-star, right? And I'm trying to get, you got those rusty games trying to get back into the swing of things. He's played well recently, but again, as an all-star, look at the body of work through the first half of the season, I think we would all agree that LeBron doesn't have that body of work. But if it's his last one, we're like, well, we don't want to disrespect him. We want him to be there. But if it's not his last one, we just took a spot from someone probably more deserving.
Zaslow, quit looking at boobs on the internet. Amin just said of what you said about LeBron that he wasn't lying. He disagrees with you. You said flatly that he's lying, and Amin just said you're wrong.
I mean, I think he's happy. You're telling me there was not a moment where LeBron sat there and goes, man, I wonder if I'm not going to get voted this year. No, not a moment. Not a moment that he thought that. I mean, seriously?
I would say that for the vast majority of the season, he probably assumed I'm not going to be an all-star.
So he thought about it.
Okay, but he thought about it but didn't think about making the game. You're playing semantics there. Like, you're calling him a liar. You're calling somebody a liar for something that is fairly benign, and you're saying it again and again.
Well, I'm saying it because it's like everything that he says comes off like that he's not being truthful, that he's not being honest. It's not an isolated thing.
Let's play. Go ahead, Amin.
I think you're doing a thing here, man. I think you're doing the talk radio thing where no matter what he says, he's wrong.
Let's play for Amin a sound of Jason Kidd that I will not paraphrase exactly what it is that he's talking about here, as I always do.
Coach, you get like a lot of national criticism for playing flag at point guard. But over the last 2 games,
I don't give a the criticism. That's your opinion. You guys write that. That's not that. I've done this. I played this game. I played it at a very high level, and I know what the doing. But I don't give a fuck what you guys write, because you guys have never played the game. And so I've built players, so I know what the fuck I'm doing. So to take criticism, it only makes me better. Because if I wasn't doing it right, you guys wouldn't be poking holes at what I've done. That's it.
Woo!
He walked off there. Like, that's it. No more questions.
If I wasn't doing right, meaning if I was doing wrong, you wouldn't be poking holes in what I'm doing?
I stopped there as well, but I think what he's saying is if he wasn't doing his job correctly, he wouldn't have a job where he's making the decisions that get to be criticized.
For the record, I agree with him about how he's used Cooper Flagg. I agree with that as a development thing. I agree. He's not lying when he says I built players. He's talking about Giannis. Giannis as a young player, he put him at point. And people were like, he's not a point guard, but it's like, you know that those skills will later on help him in his career and make him into a better player. I agree with Jason Kidd on all that. Part I don't agree with is, first of all, it sounded like he was saying that the guy was doing the criticism. It's like, hey, I'm asking you about the other places. Why are you talking about me? Hey, you guys right. And then the other part is just like I played this game, you haven't.
So
like,
tired.
Right, man.
So
that,
tired.
It is a lazy thing to fall back on. Right, because there are plenty of guys who play the game, don't know what the hell they're talking about. And there are plenty of guys who didn't play the game who are really, really astute at what they do. So
we have a couple of more questions. Jeremy has one, and I wanted to revisit something we asked last week. Who's better, Dwayne Wade or Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say Giannis has the higher peak for sure. He won MVP, and that's something Dwayne Wade can never say he did. Giannis has put together, I think, a longer resume because he hasn't been hurt as often as Wade was. And I think when you look at that championship in Milwaukee, we all recognize that's Giannis. And that's not just Giannis in those finals. Remember, he's coming off a knee injury that we thought he might miss the finals, and by the end of it, he's scoring 42 in a closeout game. Wade had the luxury of playing with Shaq, and even though he was great in the finals, he didn't have to carry that team to the season or even the playoffs.
So you're saying that Giannis would be the second best player the Heat have ever had because Shaq by the end wasn't quite what Shaq was in his prime.
I mean, Shaq, when he got to Miami, was still pretty good.
Runner-up MVP.
It wasn't a long window, but it was with 04, 05, 05, 06. Those 2 years, he was really good. And
Better than Giannis? Are you saying that Giannis is not the second best player the Heat will have ever had behind LeBron James? That Shaq was the second best.
He has an opportunity because Shaq was only great for 2 years. Giannis has an opportunity to become the second best. But in terms of arrival, he walks in the door today. No. At this point, arriving as a Miami Heat player, LeBron James was the best player the Heat ever had. Shaquille O'Neal was second best, and then I'll put Giannis third.
15 seconds or less, Jeremy. Get us out of here.
You run the Bucks. Which offer you taking, Warriors or Heat?
I think I do again. The counter offers have been
Time's up.
But okay.
I am truly stunned that I said 15 seconds or less, and Jeremy was wildly efficient, and this is what a mean professional broadcaster gave us.
I think I do again. The counter offers have been.
Time's up. Again, I love when someone uses the again after not saying anything at all.
I think I do again. The counter offers have been.
Time's up. Oh. Juju is with us now. We're going to update some polls. We're going to do some critique. What do you have for us to start in the way of critique today, Juju?
First of all, I'm not sure if I can say this or I'm allowed, but here goes nothing. Happy Black History Month, everybody.
You're not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to say it.
I knew it. Well, yeah, happy Black History Month, man. Great weekend of sports, man. Teofimo went down. Shakur Stevenson handed him a big punch in the face. He's been doing a lot of stuff, a lot of antics lately that could be seen as very racist, so it was good to see him humbled. And he apologized for racism after the show, so good fights, Shakur Stevenson. But, yeah, great weekend of sports.
Let's get to some of the things on the docket here today. I think that we have said some questionable things over the last 10 days or so. Let's revisit some of them, shall we?
Yeah, I ain't even finna take it out to 10 days. I'm gonna take it out to one day, Friday. Jeremy, can we put the camera on Jeremy Taché, please, sirs, and ma'ams and days? You said if Mike Vrabel did it, you would watch. Do you want to clarify that? Do you want to repeat that? Or do you want to stand on that?
I'll stand on that.
Whoa! Wow.
All right.
Shocking.
I mean, Vrabel said he would cut off his penis to win a Super Bowl, and Jeremy said he would watch that.
I don't believe that any of you wouldn't.
No, I would not watch that.
I was
That's
at a
not
party
true.
over the weekend, and multiple people came up to me and was like, Jeremy was out of pocket for that. And I was like, hey, look, he stands on that.
Multiple people came
Multiple
up to
people
you.
have on Zoom and in person.
Why would anybody want to watch? Who wants to watch
That's
that?
what I'm saying.
Why would you want? I get squeamish watching like needles and shivs in movies. Why would I want to watch that?
You wouldn't be able to look away.
So now it's time to put the camera on Judge Zaz. I'm so sorry, Zaz, to do this to you, brother. It seems like you agree, though, that reporters in the suspension situation because they don't know shit, and they shouldn't just be allowed to say they don't know shit. You feel me? You're not one of them. But do you want to repeat this, or do you want to stand on this, or do you want to retract this? Kai Cenat is a low-end celebrity. Wild.
Yeah, I think he's a low-end celebrity.
No, that's crazier than me saying I want to watch Mike Vrabel cut off his dick.
Get indignant.
Like you're telling me.
Know that guy and he's young. You've seen it in a tweet before. Just double down and be like, I can't believe that idiot.
If you ask someone who's above the age of 25 who Kai Cenat is, you feel like the majority of them are going to know who he is? No, they're not. That's a low-end celebrity.
He may be on SoundCloud or YouTube or an app. Don't volunteer that. Just
I'm sorry.
act dismayed.
I'm not sorry, actually. I don't know why anyone would say they're sorry. I'm Rob
Might be
Ryan.
Twitch.
Whatever.
Just say Twitch.
Just because young people know who
Don't
Kai
say
Cenat is
mine.
doesn't make him a high-end celebrity. No disrespect.
He's great on MySpace.
Shit.
And lastly, put the camera on me. I'm tired. It seemed like we standing on everything.
No, that's
I
not
was
right.
just-
Juju, you're so right about that. Like, they cannot double down on those opinions. They're terrible opinions.
Right, especially Zaz's during Black History Month.
I'm gonna ask.
Not
you.
here nor there. But lastly, to us, I know David Sampson. We love you, brother. We support you, and we always got you in our hearts. But he gave a hero's support to Chevy Chase the other day. And I just want to put out there, to us African Americans, Chevy Chase is the guy who vigorously uses the N-word at will because he says that Richard Pryor said he could do so.
Yeah, that's we didn't mention that when talking about Chevy Chase, that he used it casually with Richard Pryor's permission because they did a skit on Saturday Night Live about crackers and offensive
What's the problem?
stereotypes.
Not this much. What is it? Zagaki.
Easy.
Also, I watched over the weekend. I saw Mina Kimes and her co-host David Dennis, I believe. They were interviewing Ron Funches. Also, I'm familiar with Ron Funches from his South Beach Session interview. Go check it out right now if you haven't. But my boy Ron Funches was on Traders. So I was like, bro, I'm finna give this show a chance, man. Damn it. I done seen the promo over and over. I seen bro in the kilts and the boots. I'm finna lock in. Let me tell you. This show should be a required watch in every elementary school across America.
Why?
Brothers and sisters, I'm here to tell you, might be the best show on TV. These folks be so convinced that they know exactly who the trader is, and they will bet their lives and their first children on it. And this person over here is a liar because I saw him talking to old girl last night. They be just as wrong as hell. I'm talking about wrong accusation after wrong accusation coming from blonde hair, blue eyes, coming from every type. And you would think, oh, man, he said that. I believe him. No, they all lying. They're traitors. Watch the show ASAP. Ooh, Peacock. I'm so happy we are in bed with you guys.
Juju, what did you make of Tony saying that there are no good movies anymore?
He's not far off, bruh. folks be overreacting on all these movies, like David Sampson and them was saying. One battle after another. I saw it. I watched it. It was cool. I stayed awake the entire time. It wasn't this thing. It wasn't chocolat. It wasn't let Adnam and David Sampson tell it. You would have thought Titanic 2 came out. You feel me? And so I don't agree with the most of it, but I do think that my brother Tony is on to something. He a dog with a bone on this one.
Thank you.
So it made me come up with a top 5 ass movies of 2025.
All right.
Again, not wrong, just early.
Just early. Number 5, The War of the Worlds, the Ice Cube movie.
Oh, man. I think I got 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ass on ass. I'm talking about I tried to watch that movie 3 times, sirs, and I could not do it.
That was booty juice.
Booty juice. Number 4, Novocaine. I usually like bruh too. He in The Boys. He a good actor. But boy, do not go see Novocaine. You will regret it.
Yo, Ice Cube's War of the Worlds got 4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Number 3, my brother Amin. Now, we got to always remember that Amin has been desensitized by the Cinephobe show he does, where he volunteers himself to watch some ass movies. Number 3 is The Running Man. You are right, Dan.
Thank you.
I watched it.
Thank you. Thank you, Juju.
I watched it over the weekend, too, bro. I was like, oh, free Running Man. Yes, sir. I was front and center. Man, that thing was so lame. Didn't pay no homage to Arnold, except they had him in there on a card. Maybe he's a president. I don't know. It was ass, though. No plot, no twists, just straight ass. What'd you say, Tony? What the other one was?
That's booty juice.
Booty juice. Number 2, the movie Begonia.
What?
I heard that's good.
That movie's good, Juju.
Juju agrees with me. No good movies anymore.
It's weird. I like it because Emma Stone and Fat Damon, but and Savi, but it's weird. That movie's weird.
Bruh, I knew the answer to the movie the first 5 minutes of the movie, and that's where I give it a party foul. Like, at least give me a twist that I don't see coming. Pause. Sorry. Number 1, him. Marlon Wayans, you need to be ashamed of yourself for that movie, bro. Salute to all the people involved. Get your money.
That's a quarterback, right? It's a quarterback movie?
Yeah, a quarterback horror film. Yeah, Jesus.
It sounded like Stavi. No one said Savi, right? No one caught that. I didn't make him a Savier. They're crazy. I'm not crazy. We move on.
Juju, you got some polls for today? What do we got?
Yes, sir. I got some polls from the last couple of days, the last 2 days. A great one right here. Better basketball player, D-Wade or Giannis?
Easy answer.
54% of the audience says D-Wade, man. 305, stand up. Is Bill Belichick rooting for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, wow, that's an old one.
92% of the audience say, hell nah.
Yeah.
Is Tom Brady rooting for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl? 54% of the audience say, hell nah. What's more impressive, squatting 405 at age 65 or squatting 65 at age 405? 63% of the audience says squatting 65 at 405.
Dan said John Harbaugh was 405.
Is saying, shuck you, Dan, the best way to kick off Super Bowl week. Hey, that brother was awesome. He made a fan out of me Friday.
Right.
80% of the audience says, yes, it is. Have you ever been so drunk that you threw a chair and accidentally hit your homeboy? And I put homeboy because mate don't read the same on Twitter. Mate seems domestic.
Have to put Australian accent in parentheses.
Right. 79% of the audience says, no, they have not. Have you ever suspected a boxer of wearing a toupee in the ring? 90% of the audience says, no, they have not. Can the word battling ever be one syllable? 78% of the audience says no, it cannot. And last poll, in Miami, is that smell from the heater just dust from the coils because it's been so long since you've last used it? 95% of the audience says yes, it is, and those are your polls.
All right, put it on the poll. Is everything about funding This Is America, Jack? Because you forgot that one. We'll get to that tomorrow. Thank you, Juju.
Yes, sir.
Shuck you, Dan.